give it their all.
Have a real nice tempo. Goes baseline, watch out.
Oh, my!
Oh, baby! All the way down the runway for a big-time throwdown.
That's a lot of fans out there.
Look at that! The drama keeps continuing, Shelly.
This is just brilliant.
He strikes. Starts as you mean to go on.
But this is the danger of the top two guys, and that nuclear weapon that is.
Oh, hello, goodbye. Score! In the back of the net. And shoots. Score!
Of Serie A action. We'll bring you so much of it here on DAZN.
Magnificent. That is tremendous.
Catching up on any NFL game is easier than ever before.
Going deep, far off, Devontae Smith! He has got it! Touchdown!
Your Eagles are world champions again.
DAZN is the home of boxing.
Really spurs you on, gets you going. Let's make history! Pure power.
Oh, there's no way back from this, surely!
Conceição. Now Yildiz! That'll seal it for Juventus. The floodgates have opened up now.
Drops to Bernardeschi, to Orsolini, and finally the drought ends in added time.
Conceição. Now Yildiz! That'll seal it for Juventus. The floodgates have opened up now.
Drops to Bernardeschi, to Orsolini, and finally the drought ends in added time.
Conceição. Now Yildiz! That'll seal it for Juventus. The floodgates have opened up now.
Drops to Bernardeschi, to Orsolini, and finally the drought ends in added time.
Conceição. Conceição. Now Yildiz! That'll seal it for Juventus. The floodgates have opened up now.
Drops to Bernardeschi, to Orsolini, and finally the drought ends in added time.
You have good days and bad days. The co-driver does a lot of work on the rally with the time controls and the road sections, with the pace notes, of course. It's not an easy job, but yeah, it's also nice that we both get to do it together and try to improve, so that's always important for me and Shane.
So what's the next step then?
In WRC1 you want to show some fast stage times, you want to get closer to the top guys, so that's the next step for us, is to be faster more consistently at the top 3 times, and then maybe we can get some stage wins, and from there would be podiums, and yeah, that's sort of the progression that we look at now.
Again, before last time we were sat here, who was the best guy out there aside from those top guys? It was Joseph Parker. Yeah. I said, okay, pick him, give him a call. I'd get in a ring and have a scrap with him.
Why do you run to the fire like that, like Fabio Loeb? Like, most people do the risk-reward thing, and they weigh up the risk, weigh up the reward, and think, okay, there are easier options where I can make similar money. Why do you always run to the fire?
Because I'm not here for the easy fights. They're not, like, I know myself and I know my character, and I know, like, I would be disappointed in myself, because I would know that I picked that fight because it's easier, and I'd be like, really? Like, so you're scared of him, or you don't want to fight him? Like, me would be having an argument, like, really? Is that who you are? Is that the type of fighter you are? You pick the guy because he's easier? Is that where you are? And it's like, no, that's not me, one as a person, but two as a fighter. Who is the next best person out there? Call him, tell him I want to have a fight with him.
By split decision, the bronze
Tonight was very fun. As you can see, I was having a lot of good time, a lot of good fun in here in the ring. David got a lot of good shots out, but it took a long time for me to heal, but I'm back. And I'm gonna get better and better each and every time. And man, what a fun night tonight.
What do you want to say?
Tell them what I said.
I can't remember.
I told her that she should be proud of her dad. He's a warrior, and he did a great job, and I love sharing the ring with him. Let's do it. Let's do it. We're ready for this.
Conceição. Now Yildiz! That'll seal it for Juventus. The floodgates have opened up now.
The following program is recommended for those 16 and over, as it contains sporting violence, possible bad language, and flashing imagery.
Number 3 division champion Abner Mares and Justin Goosen Brown. And Abner, careers are made on Cinco de Mayo weekend.
Yes.
What does an opportunity like this mean, especially for a Mexican fighter?
Oh, it's a great opportunity. It means everything. It's culture, it's family, it's Mexico, La Raza. So tonight, an opportunity for them is to showcase their talent and show the world that they can become the next Mexican superstars.
Justin, in addition to our mouth-watering main course, we have what could be all action appetizers.
Yeah, I think so. It's going to be loaded with action, but also loaded with questions, especially in that co-main event tonight. And Jaime Munguia and Armando Resendiz both have a lot to prove. May just end up stealing the show.
In the words of my fellow Canadian Alanis Morissette, isn't it ironic? The author of the 2025 Upset of the Year, Resendiz defending his 168 title against the loser of the 2024 Upset of the Year, Munguia, former champion at 154. And it is time to get the preliminary portion of our event underway. It's a battle of undefeated Olympians. Southpaw Juan Carrillo of Colombia taking on Marlon Delgado of Ecuador. Two undefeated fighters willing to test each other at a contract weight of 178 pounds. The bout is scheduled for 8 rounds. With the official introductions now, here is ring announcer Miguel Flores.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to T-Mobile Arena here in Las Vegas, Nevada, as Premier Boxing Champions presents First on Prime. It is all brought to you by Golden Boy Promotions and Samson Boxing in association with TGB Promotions. Sponsored by Thomas J. Henry Law, VMC Cocktails, Linear Protein Bar, and Mortal Kombat 2, only in theaters May 8th. Our 3 judges ringside for this one are Kermit Bayless, Tim Cheatham, and Steve Weisfeld. The referee in charge of the action is Thomas Taylor. And now Premier Boxing Champions present 8 rounds in the light heavyweight division. Introducing first in the red corner, wearing the black and white trunks, he weighed in at 177.6 pounds. His record remains perfect, 8 victories, 6 by knockout, no defeats. Fighting out of Chota, Ecuador, here is the hard-hitting knockout artist, Marlon Black Boy Delgado. And now across the ring, introducing his opponent in the blue corner, wearing the black trunks. He weighed in at 177.4 pounds. He is also undefeated, 14 victories, 10 by knockout, no defeats. Proudly representing Barranquilla, Colombia. Damas y caballeros, está presentando Juan Carrillo.
Coach, can I have you on this side? Coach, I'll have you on the other side over here. All right, gentlemen, we're going to the middle of the black belt line here. We're going to the middle of the white letters on this side. You both got my instructions in the back. Protect yourselves at all times. Listen to my commands. Touch them up. Back to your corner, gentlemen.
We have Marlon Delgado making his Las Vegas and USA debut on a career-high 5-fight knockout streak. Meanwhile, Juan Carrillo, he has sparred with David Benavidez, who's going to be, of course, challenging Gilberto Ramirez for his cruiserweight title coming up in the main event on pay-per-view. But it's the bell and round 1 of this scheduled 8-round matchup made at a contract weight of 178 pounds. And again, Carrillo, the southpaw, pawing with the jab, but Delgado looking to bring the fight to Carrillo early.
Yeah, well, you mentioned both these guys, undefeated and Olympians, former Olympians. Now, even Delgado has been in those Olympics twice, but Carrillo has switched his training camp. He is now with Bob Santos, so that's a new move for him.
Yeah, and Carrillo, Abner told us that he plans to press the action, close the distance, and test the belief. He doesn't think Delgado has the power to keep him honest.
Yeah, and that's exactly why he feels that way. He says that he doesn't have power, so now he feels comfortable going forward, and that's what we're seeing in this first round.
Ask Delgado's last 5 opponents if he has power. He's riding a 5-fight KO streak, and again, limited opposition as you grow your record. Delgado's 9th professional fight, 8-0 with 6 KOs. Carrillo, he's 14-0 with 10 KOs, so they have displayed pop previously.
Yeah, they both have displayed pop, but also, look, that's because Delgado, he even fought in that IBA International Boxing Association tournament while 7-0 as a pro. So he has a little bit of everything in his style, but Carrillo said he's going to come out ferocious. He hasn't quite yet, but we'll see if he turns it on.
Delgado has logged only 104 seconds of official action coming into this fight since September 2022, when he knocked out Southpaw Williams Colina. November of 2025, and now Carrillo beginning to march forward, beginning to put some pressure on Delgado, but Delgado fires back with the right hand.
I like that pressure that Carrillo's putting. That's composed, smart pressure, not lunging in. There's the jab, the lead hand, and definitely getting Delgado, you know, a little worried here, because Delgado seemed like he was going to be the guy pressing. He's really good at that, but he can't do it right now because Carrillo's just on him.
We are at the final minute of the opening frame. Delgado started aggressively, but now the intelligent pressure of Carrillo is keeping him at bay.
Yeah, Carrillo's doing a really nice job right now following Delgado's. Delgado's kind of trying to move consistently to that right side, and you'll see Abner, he met him with that quick check right hook Carrillo did.
I think that's what, yeah, there it is again from Delgado. Yeah, he's got to time him now because, I mean, he is low. Speaking of Carrillo, the jab, you can time it. Yep. He is working in patterns, so if you're smart and you're Delgado, you just want to time that.
Oh, that was at the bell line, and he has had success with the left hook, has had Delgado, but he's being backed up now by the pressure of Carrillo. Again, two Olympians putting their undefeated records on the line relatively early in their careers, getting to do it on one of the biggest stages in the sport, Cinco de Mayo weekend in Las Vegas, where both Carrillo and Delgado are fighting for the first time.
Watch the elbow. Time right there.
Relax, relax. Perfect. Everything good. Sit down, sit down.
Okay.
Okay. Just relax. All right. Cut the ring. All right, don't follow him. Cut the ring. Don't force anything, but go to the body, please. Jab upstairs, downstairs. Lead hand, alive. Don't force anything, please. Don't force anything yet. Come. Body, okay?
Decorated trainer Bob Santos issuing instructions to Juan Carrillo and ending it with go to the body. And we begin round number 2. And Carrillo, in his 15th pro fight, he had over 400 amateur bouts, one of the most decorated amateurs to ever come out of Colombia. And he's in his first scheduled 10-rounders, so there's levels to the game, both of them taking a step up here tonight.
Yep, and Bob Santos told Carrillo, go down to the body, but in round 1, it was kind of Delgado with that right hand going to the body.
Yeah. And he told him not to force anything because there was times he was trying to throw certain punches, but they were too slow, and Delgado was able to counterpunch.
Carrillo, a southpaw technician disguised as a puncher, more than likely will win with control, not chaos. Mid-output, sharp accuracy, and he does have a jab that dictates the terms, but he's also not shy about the plan, guys. He said he was going to come out aggressive, throw in volume, and take the fight to the inside.
Yeah, he just tried to get in there right now, but Delgado met him with a great left hook, and that's actually how Carrillo got dropped way back by Van Sicklen, and that fight went 10 rounds.
That was in June of 2023. Carrillo had actually dropped Van Sicklen in round 3. He went down in round 4. Carrillo edged the victory by majority decision over 10. There's Delgado clubbing left hook, and if he can get to work with that left hook, he can find some success because Carrillo's right hand is dropped.
Yeah, his head is up high as well. He's not tucking that chin. Speaking of Carrillo.
Double left hook from Delgado.
And yeah, Carrillo's the one pressing the action right now, but there's a lot of clean punches that Delgado has been landing.
He just landed a clean counter right hand, and then Carrillo almost rabbit punching there.
Yes, Carrillo stands very upright, and he does keep that head on a straight line. So if you are able to break through that jab, And that's what the feet of Delgado kind of been able to do so far, get in those angles.
Off the head. Stop, stop, stop.
I also asked Carrillo yesterday, how does this fight end and what round does it end? He pointed to his left hand and said do, so we'll see if he can kind of come on.
Santos wanted Carrillo to go to the body, yet it's Delgado with the advantage 7-2 in this round as Delgado goes headhunting. High guard by Carrillo, but he's managing to split the guard with the right hand is Delgado.
Yeah, beautiful double, triple on that right hand.
And man, Carrillo's head, his chin is high. It's right for the picking.
Yeah, if you're Delgado, you want to faint downstairs and then come upstairs. The head's going to be there from Carrillo.
Yeah, and right now at the moment, Carrillo's kind of just following him. That jab, he has a good jab, but he's not using it quite enough. And that could kind of help him to place Delgado where he wants him.
It's more of a stick. Yeah, it's more of a stick, but he's leaving it out there. Easy to counter.
Stop.
Down to the final seconds on cue. The final 10 seconds of round 2. A competitive round with a slight edge to Delgado's work on the inside.
Sit down. I don't want any excuses, okay? No excuses. You can't leave the body. You can't just be on top of him and not throw anything. He threw a body shot upstairs, but you stopped. Don't just stay there. Look for the way to get in, okay? Start with the jab, though. You hit him with a really nice jab as well downstairs. Keep doing it, but finish with that hook. Start from the bottom, upstairs, downstairs. Every time he throws downstairs, it hurts him. Catch some air, come on. There's the opportunity, let's go. He's got his guard down. Finish hard upstairs.
Stay right there.
Trainer Jose Aguirre giving instructions to Marlon Delgado. Fighting out of the orthodox stance immediately on the attack of the southpaw Carrillo. And Delgado putting the pressure and coming forward with right hands. Needs to sit down on his punches a little more. It throws him off balance.
Who's that?
Delgado.
Yeah, he is at times. He's pushing a lot of those punches. I see what you're saying, Mauro. But yeah, I like the instructions from the corner. Once he's in there already committed, you got to let those hands go. The body shot especially. Work from, from the body upstairs. There it is, body shot.
He's having an amazing start to the round, Justin. Delgado lighting up Carrillo downstairs and upstairs.
Yeah, and what he's doing after, you see he's kind of jumping in with that right hand, and then he's smothering and tying up that lengthy Carrillo, not quite letting Carrillo get that leverage on the inside. So this is where Carrillo needs to use his jab, prevent him, because at the moment, Delgado's got the better feet.
And of course, power shots, the hooks, the crosses, the uppercuts, everything except the jab. There's a double jab, a blinding jab followed by the right hand, and good job by Delgado to keep moving, using angles, circling, and never being in one place too long.
Especially against the southpaw, right, Justin? He's walking to his right, taking away that lead hand that he has. Good job from Carrillo in this round.
Yeah, and that's what Delgado does. Even if that's that amateur experience, he kind of boxes southpaws like he's a southpaw. He's the one kind of moving, getting those angles.
You mean good job Delgado, by the way, not Carrillo, right? Delgado is dominating this round.
Delgado is the one that kind of boxes southpaws like Carrillo. He's going to keep moving against him,
nice
going
counter.
to the body especially.
Stop.
Especially the way that Carrillo kind of leans back. He protects his head, but that body's still open.
Carrillo went to the body successfully, but very linear, very straight up and down, and Delgado has capitalized on that. And when Carrillo goes to the body, not a lot of mustard behind those punches. Not sitting there, more arm punches. There's a whipping right hand, he heard me. He said, what do you think of these shots? Less than a minute left in round 3.
And it was more than 2. I like that. He's got to start picking it up in volume. Speaking of Carrillo, it's only one.
There's a double left hook by Delgado. Upstairs, downstairs. There's a right cross by Carrillo that clips Delgado's chin, and Delgado can obviously take a punch. He has never been knocked down in his career. Never been down. Oh, nice right hand by Delgado. But he is slapping a lot of his shots and pushing them like you say, Abner. But he's being more aggressive and has had, from my advantage point, the more punishing power shots.
Yeah, cleaner, effective punches from
especially in this
and then
round.
there are, yeah.
It's been his most dominant round of the fight, statistically speaking.
Yeah, way more volume. I think that Carrillo is looking for a haymaker, a big shot to get him out, which is, I don't think that's a fight that he should be doing. Gotta throw more. All the time, all the time.
Big time.
More punches and more to the body, okay? More punches and more to the body. Incredible. Hey, listen, incredible. I like that. Start touching him up.
Kermit, number 4.
And here's a powerful check right hook from the softball Carrillo. There, we talked about the power shots that he's looking for in this fight to end it. And that's a shot that I thought he heard. And for a second there, Delgado, because Delgado did wobble, and then he started backing up a little bit. But yeah, those are the heavy shots that Carrillo's looking for.
And that happened when Carrillo had that space to kind of throw that 2-3 and was able to catch Delgado coming forward.
Round number 4 scheduled for 8 at a contract weight of 178 pounds, 2 undefeated Olympians. Carrillo putting his track shoes on, using some lateral movement, getting caught up along the ropes by Delgado. And you talk about Carrillo's performance thus far as trainer. Santos wants more punches, more to the body. He doesn't appear comfortable, and that might have something to do with the fact this is his first fight in 15 months, a career-long layoff. And fighters in the 21st century need to be more active.
Yeah, that, and I think he might have been overlooking Marlon Delgado a little bit coming in, because in those fighter meetings he said he's not worried about him at all, not worried about the power at all. He thought he was going to walk right through him, but he's finding out with that quick right hand. He may have a little bit of some steam on that right hand, Delgado.
Yeah, and Carrillo's walking to those punches right now. Again, his head linear, up high. So he's got to be careful again. He's got to move his head a little bit more. Speaking about Carrillo. And yeah, if you want to dig to the body, you want to look to the body, okay, jab your way in, and once you're in there, bend your knees a little bit. Don't stay straight up like he's staying right now, Carrillo.
Don't use that, all right?
No nonsense referee. Thomas Taylor maintaining law and order. Carrillo with a bolo punch. But very needs to be more focused in his attack. I get the feeling, and now he's looking out of the ring.
Oh, okay.
And that uppercut that he snuck in there right there, because Delgado, when he does press in, kind of does lower his head. So that uppercut could meet him on the way. But you saw Carrillo at the beginning of this round try to use his feet, because Delgado's really making an effort to get in tight and smother him.
We have just over a minute left in the 4th, and Delgado's thrown 47 punches compared to Carrillo's 9.
Yeah. Yeah, it's only one shot at a time, 2 shots. There it is from Carrillo. Again, power shots, yeah, he's trying to hurt Delgado, but it's not working for you right now, buddy. You got to change it up. You got to throw more punches. And yeah,
like his trainer asked him, more punches, more to the body. Not to the body. Not listening.
And that's exactly what Delgado told us in the fighter meetings. He knows that Carrillo throws everything hard, but he doesn't throw with much volume, so he's kind of taking advantage of that. But they still are exchanging right there.
No knockdown. Give me gloves. Don't push down.
Yeah, if I'm Carrillo, you want to change it up. You want to become the boxer now. Yeah, use that reach, that lead hand, and wait for Delgado to come in and counter punch him.
Stop. Guys, watch it.
Yeah, especially if we're kind of getting close right here to the end of round 4. Still kind of been going the same way it has since round 1.
Yes.
Delgado outworking and really trying to smother him up. But there's a body shot right there. That might have been a little foot tingle with the slip.
Gotta get up.
I think that was a push, low blow. I don't know what that was.
A punch landed, but the feet got tangled.
And then Delgado's trying to sell it.
Yeah, it's that body. It's that body shot.
Body shot hurt him.
Down. 3, 4, 5, 6.
I don't think he's getting up.
7, 8, 9, 10. We're done.
Buzzer beater. Juan Carrillo with a monster comeback in the round, down statistically, and he lands the body shot to end all body shots and records his 11th knockout in spectacular fashion.
We were talking about those big shots, heavy shots that Carrillo was looking for. And what else? What the corner was telling him, the body. And there he is. He found it. Right when you said, Justin, I didn't see anything at the beginning, but it was a body shot that dropped him the first time that hurt him. Yep. He got up, and then Carrillo followed up and just finished him.
Yep, Delgado, he was doing good work trying to smother, get in as close as he can, and finally Carrillo kind of met him on the way in with that quick, short left hand, and it was a little bit of a slip, kind of getting tangled up, but that first shot hurt him. And then
Doctor tending to Marlon Delgado, who has tasted defeat for the first time and has been stopped for the first time here in his American debut, and let's revisit the finish.
Ooh. And that was the finishing one right there. It was a right hand down to the body.
Solo shot.
Yeah. And he did that standing as a right-hander. He was coming in straight right to the body, solar plex. Oh my God, he walked right into that.
Yeah, and he was, I believe he was hurt before that on that first one where they kind of got their feet tangled up, but that one really sealed the deal. That right hand put everything into it. And that's the one-punch knockout that everyone in that Bob Santos camp has been telling me about this kid.
Delgado goes down for the first time, literally and figuratively. Let's make it official with Miguel Flores.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Thomas Taylor called a stop to this contest at 2 minutes and 59 seconds of round number 4, as Delgado could not make the 10 count. Therefore, your winner by knockout and still undefeated, Juan Carrillo.
It's like Juan Carrillo must play for the NBA's Toronto Raptors or something. A buzzer beater KO in the 4th round, and Juan Carrillo of Colombia improves to 15-0 with 11 KOs. Let's go back up to Bernardo.
And is there a better place to be for Cinco de Mayo weekend than Las Vegas, Nevada? If you can't join us live, well, there's a QR code right at the bottom right of your screen. Buy the pay-per-view starting at 8 p.m. tonight. That'll be our pay-per-view. David Benavidez looking to make history as the first man to win titles at 168, 175, and at cruiserweight as he tries to dethrone the unified champion, El Zurdo Ramirez. All right, I'm Bernardo Osuna alongside Chris Mannix and Brian Campbell. What did you guys think of the one-punch wonder, Juan Carrillo, who comes in from Colombia? And he brought that punch, Chris, you mentioned it, all the way down from Barranquilla right to the solar plexus.
Hey, if you've ever been in those Bob Santos gyms and seen his fighters, he preaches the body shot. And while that wasn't the prettiest of body shots or the most technical of body shots, that was a Colombian body shot. That was a big power punch to the midsection. Look, he was down for the 10 count with Thomas Taylor, but it took him maybe another minute or two even to get up on his feet. That's how strong that was. I'm happy for Carrillo. That's exactly the kind of performance you want to open up a pay-per-view. You want to do something special, give people a reason to want to see you again. He did that.
Yeah, and look, Carrillo started off a bit slow, seemed to be a little bit rusty coming off of that layoff. He wasn't great for all 4 rounds, but he was great when he needed to be with the perfect timing. He was the bigger puncher in the fight. Credit to him for not falling behind mentally in terms of the frustration, making the adjustments, and then when given the chance, giving us a bang to kick it off. Let's go, Cinco de Mayo.
Look, at the end of the day, you know, he's no young buck. He's 33 years old, but you got to make it count. And he was training out in Queens, New York. He moves out to Las Vegas like many people have done, and he goes and trains with Bob Santos. You mentioned the fact that Bob Santos is a no-nonsense guy, and we saw a lot of that adjustment because this guy comes from a boxing family. His father and his brother with both fighters, so you know there was a lot of that in the gym.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, again, you go back to the way Bob likes to train guys and guys that he brings in a little bit later in their respective careers. He tells every one of them, go to the body, hit downstairs. That's where you have success. I saw a Bob Santos trained fighter just last weekend. Lenny Rapero lost to Jarrell Miller in a heavyweight fight, in part because he didn't go to the body enough. But that was a fantastic body shot, and that's what you want to see out of a fighter. And again, like for a guy that is a little bit long in the tooth at this stage of his career, you want to give a promoter, you want to give somebody, a TV network, a reason to want to see you again. I thought Carrillo did that today.
Yeah, look, Carrillo showing you with the veteran skills that he's never out of a fight. You know, we talked about when he was dropped by Richard Van Sicklen just a few years back, got up off the canvas, delivered a knockdown of his own and won a close decision. He's figured out how to win close fights, and that can certainly be key on your rise when you're looking to get into true title contention.
Look, we have a lot of action tonight in the pay-per-view, so you won't want to miss it. Starting at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, it'll be Isaac Lucero opening things up against the hard-fighting Ismael Flores from Argentina, and then Jorge Chavez and Jose Sanchez. Both of them unbeaten. 15-0-1 for Chavez, 15-0 for Sanchez. SoCal's in the house. Oscar Duarte's chomping at the bit to get back into the ring. He didn't care that Angel Fierro came in 3 pounds overweight. He says, no way, after 2 complete camps am I not gonna fight. So expect punishment in that bout. And then it will be Armando Resendiz coming off of the upset of the year against Jaime Munguia, who's the victim of the upset of the year in 2024, and they face off for Resendiz's WBA super middleweight title. And it all leads us to David Benavidez against Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez. How about we take a look at PBC's Gloves Off, Benavidez Ramirez, the pay-per-view.
Good morning, baby. It's on today. We're gonna get after it. I hope you're ready, because we're ready, baby.
Here on Mount Charleston, I get a nice little run in. Some good work today. Bro, look at, come here, touch me. How does it feel to touch a real man?
I just can't wait for May 2nd, Cinco de Mayo weekend, fighting for 2 titles. You guys are going to see a different monster that night. This is going to be the fight of the year. He's ready to go and show the world why they call him the Mexican Monster.
Ask me what's my plan for Ramirez. What's my game plan for the fight? We'll go on there, hit him with some good shit, then leave with a pocket full of cash.
They call him the Mexican Monster. He earned that name by systematically demolishing every man who dared to share his reign. 31 times they stepped up to stop him. He is down! 31 times he sent them away broken. For most, boxing is a career. But for Benavidez, it provides a sanctuary. In this sacred space, a higher power guides his hands as he fights for his family, for his salvation. This makes him truly dangerous. He ignores the hollow glitter of wealth and fame. He pursues a divine journey of violence because he loves it.
I definitely feel like this life is made for me. God put me here for a reason on this path, and I'm gonna take full advantage of that. Everything I say, I believe, and everybody that will go up against me will be defeated.
But as he scales to the cruiserweight clouds, the air thins. Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez waits for him there, a man who rewrote the record books.
I expect this fight to be a war.
A 200-pound anomaly. A giant who wields the hands of a surgeon and the power of a wrecking ball. For the first time, the Mexican Monster does not loom largest in the room.
Pues mi intención es hacerle daño, mi intención es ganar esta pelea. Sé que estoy dejando todo arriba del ring, pues va a haber una guerra el 2 de mayo.
Cinco de Mayo, for a Mexican warrior, this weekend represents an inheritance. This May 2nd, the monster and the giant collide to claim their birthright. This is the sport at its most primal, its most beautiful, its most violent. Viva el boxeo.
I started from the bottom, man. I never had anything given to me. The only thing that I was given to by people was just doubt and hate, and everybody said I couldn't be anything. I've been world champion since I was 20 years old. When I came into boxing, I didn't care about money. I still don't care about money, it just comes. But my #1 focus is becoming the best boxer in all of the world. And I think that's why so much people gravitate towards me, because at the end of the day, I'm not, you could hate me, you could like me, you do whatever you want, but at the end of the day, what I'm speaking is real stuff, and what I'm showing is real stuff. I'm showing focus, I'm showing dedication, I'm showing hunger, I'm showing fire. I don't care what nobody says, I'm gonna be what I wanna be. I became the best version of myself, and now I'm the Mexican monster.
There is a rising energy around David Benavidez, a gravity that draws the world towards him.
We always gotta make time for the fans, man, bro.
I know you're gonna beat his ass.
You guys came on a good day.
Appreciate letting us watch. That's pretty cool.
People don't just watch him, they want to be close to the fire. And the reason is simple. He isn't risk averse. He doesn't look for the safe exit.
I put myself in a hard position where I know if I make a mistake, I might get hurt. I put myself in that position purposely so I get the best out of it.
Most men in this sport treat an unbeaten record like glass, something to be protected and polished. Benavidez is different. He's a man who runs toward the wreck. And right now, he's a show worth the price of admission.
A lot of people have been throwing out there the face of boxing. I'm just trying to be what I know I am. And that's one of the baddest dudes on the planet, calling everybody out and beating these fighters and winning championships. If that earns me the title of face of boxing, then I guess that's what it is.
Relentless pressure is his calling card. Benavidez is known for brutalizing opponents. Perhaps that's why the biggest names in multiple divisions have avoided him.
People don't want to fight me because they know I'm coming 110% every single fight. You know, I feel like winning and losing is a decision. And I've already made that decision. I'm going to win a long, long time ago.
The Mexican monster.
He's a man who has spent his career hunting opponents who didn't want to be found. Because of that, every step forward has been a step into deeper water. He's had to outgrow division after division just to find a man willing to stand across from him.
Every fight has got harder because I've been calling for those fights. I've been calling for myself. I made the fight happen with Caleb Plant. I made the fight with Boo Boo. I made the fight with Morel. I made the fight with Zurdo Ramirez. Me, because I'm ready for this risk.
When you're the monster, you eventually run out of people to scare. You have to move toward the bigger game. That risk comes to a head on May 2nd. David Benavidez is making a 25-pound leap, a staggering jump into the deep end of the cruiserweight division. Standing in his way is the unified champion, Zurdo Ramirez.
I'm not gonna lie, boxing is scary. So when those decisions are made, when you call out these people and it's time to make that fight happen, this shit gets scary. I'm not gonna sit here and lie and be like, oh, well I'm so fucking confident, this and that. Yeah, I'm confident in myself, but you make one wrong mistake, anything can go south. This is what makes boxing boxing, the risks. Let's go, you want to spar?
For David, risk isn't a choice. It's the price of growing up Benavidez. He inherited discipline from his father, who feared that softness was a weakness. Because boxing wasn't just a sport, it was the only way to keep them safe.
The most proud moment I have is just seeing my family now and the way everybody is.
This is the next world champion here. Remember his name, Gordo. Gabriel Benavidez, the next world champion.
When a man fights to prove the sacrifice and believes the ring is the only route, then greatness isn't a goal, it's an inevitability.
I know once I do my prayers and I live how I'm supposed to live, everything is going to be taken care of. In the ring, at home, and everywhere. To bless my path, bless me with knowledge, and bless me with that warrior spirit. I never told nobody. My last fight, I think I was in the 6th round, and we're on break. And then I said the St. Michael the Archangel, defend us in battle, be our protection against the wickedness and the snares of the devil. So I said the whole prayer, and then I came out and I knocked him out in the 7th round. So he gave me the knowledge I needed to get that knockout. So thank you guys so much for this, bro. I really appreciate it. Thank you. What's up, guys? You guys doing good?
David Benavidez may be an American by birth, but his soul is strictly Mexican-made. He was raised on the high-level violence of the legends. On Cinco de Mayo weekend, that heritage isn't just a label, it's a debt. For him, all that matters is fighting like you belong to the history.
That date is legendary because we already know what's coming with that date. We're making history, 2 Mexican fighters fighting on Cinco de Mayo for the cruiserweight belts. It doesn't feel any better than for me to give my people what they want to see on our day.
De mayo, la batalla de Puebla. Es una guerra. Creo que va a ser una guerra también arriba del ring. Pues solo las leyendas habían tomado esas fechas. Para mí, pues estoy muy contento de que sea hoy en día. Creo que pues estamos en nuestro prime los dos. Va a ser un excelente espectáculo.
First impressions are everything. With Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez, it's the long shadow cast by his immense frame. The scale says 200 pounds, but the steam rising off his body tells the deeper story. This is a man on a mission, and he'll push as hard as the task demands.
Yep, put it together.
Es la pelea pues más importante de mi vida. Te digo, me emociona mucho porque él es rápido. Yo tengo buenas piernas también. No siento presión, al contrario, siento alegría por esta pelea porque se va a dar.
Speed, find it, let's go! Let's go, what you got left? What you got left? How about you want it, Zurdo? Let's go! Push, push, push! Knuckles, knuckles, turn, turn, turn!
Nuestro estilo de pelea pues va a ser un buen match esta noche.
Push, push, push! Time!
Headlining a fight of this magnitude is heavy labor. But the sweat is only what you see on the surface. For Zurdo, the real work started a lifetime ago. Back when fighting wasn't a career, it was a necessity.
Comencé en este deporte a los 12 años porque me hacían bullying. Donde yo crecí era un barrio muy bravo, un barrio que había mucho cholo. Estaba chaparro y muy delgado. Siempre me peleaba con niños más grandes que yo, o a veces eran 2 o 3, nos peleábamos. Por eso me metí al boxeo, dije, quiero aprender a pelear y quiero pues aprender a defenderme. Me ayudó mucho, me ayudó a formarme carácter en el barrio. Parte de mi personalidad es la fortaleza y el coraje.
It appears fighting for survival is the entry fee for both men on this card. Yet what Zurdo did with his survival is the anomaly. 48 fights and 30 knockouts mark a steady rampage. The story of a man who grew out of the skinny frame of his youth to do what no Mexican had ever done. The first championship came in 2016. A 12-round masterclass that left no doubt and no room for argument. When the hand was raised, the record was set. The first time a Mexican was crowned king at 168 pounds.
Esa pelea pues fue un sueño hecho realidad, el estar en el MGM, llenísimo de gente. Mi primer título mundial fue algo pues muy emocionante.
Primer mexicano campeón del mundo. Hicimos historia.
He defended that title 5 times before the scale pushed him toward the light heavyweights. In November of 2022, he ran headlong into Dmitry Bivol. Officially, it was Zurdo's first and only loss. But in this game, losing to a pound-for-pound great isn't a failure. It's a trial by fire. Zurdo didn't break. He just got bigger. He climbed again, straight into the brutal 200-pound limit of the cruiserweights. By 2024, he had taken the WBA belt, once again becoming the first Mexican to be crowned at cruiserweight. A year later, he had unified the division, the greatest accomplishment of his career.
Yep. How much? 8, but they gotta be fucking powerful. Go. 2, rip. 3, rip. 4, rip. 5, 6, harder. 7, 8. Good job. Take a second. I don't need a second. Rip. Harder.
I go for a knockout every fight. If there's an opportunity to get the knockout, every single fight. That's why I feel like my level of intensity is unmatched.
3, rip. 4.
Everybody I go up against, they get hurt.
6.
Everybody I go up against tells me after the fight that, yes, you're the best fighter I've ever faced, and you probably will be the best fighter that I'll ever be in the ring against.
Yo soy el campeón. Uno busca lo mejor. El 2 de mayo van a ver una guerra arriba del ring.
The stage is set for Cinco de Mayo weekend. A monster moving up, a giant waiting at the top. It isn't a storybook, it's a collision. This lifetime of work, every mile, and every ounce of sweat is what is at stake on May 2nd. This isn't just about the belts. It's about history.
May 2nd, champions collide. David Benavidez, undefeated, unrelenting. Zurdo Ramirez, powerful, punishing. And there's a left arm! Can the Mexican monster snatch the crown from the unified cruiserweight king? Plus, Resendiz faces Munguia for the super middleweight title. Mexican warriors battle for the belts Cinco de Mayo weekend.
Are you ready?
Benavidez Zurdo plus Resendiz Munguia, live on PBC pay-per-view.
We're back here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Everything is leading up to this fight. And when we look at the career breakdown, 18 more fights for Gilberto El Zurdo Ramirez, but he only has 5 more knockouts than David Benavidez. The rounds is basically twice as many for Gilberto Ramirez than David Benavidez because he has a brutal finish, especially at 168 pounds. You see the 80.6 knockout percentage compared to 61 for El Zurdo. And in terms of champs, the only loss on either of their records is against Dimitri Bivol, one of the top pound-for-pound fighters in the world. Now, this is a huge event for Gilberto El Zurdo Ramirez. Despite being the most seasoned fighter, the unified champion, this is his first pay-per-view main event. So David Benavidez has been here before. He was groomed since he was a young man to take on the biggest and the best. Brian, you mentioned the fact earlier that he's been sparring champion since he was a teenager. He won his first belt at 168 pounds just after he wasn't a teenager. He was 20 years old, so pretty much the same thing. But what is it about his makeup at such a young age that makes him so great?
Well, I think it is a lot of it is that experience he had. People have amateur careers in different ways. Sometimes it can be international tournaments, Olympics. Sometimes it can be as a teenager going into the gym and facing former world champs like Gennady Golovkin, Kelly Pavlik, Dimitri Bivol. And oh, by the way, El Zurdo Ramirez. Benavidez was still a teenager when he helped Ramirez prepare for his 2016 title win. And what that did was kind of build a relationship where for the next 5 years, these guys sparred upwards of 200 rounds against one another. Not only does that make a fighter like Benavidez so comfortable to be willing to go in the deep end of the pool against any opponent because he's tested himself in the trenches there, but what I love about their sparring history is the reaction from the two of them. You got Zurdo, who says, oh, it was a bit larger gloves, headgear, it was just training. You've got Benavidez, who said these were not sparring sessions, they were fights, they were wars. Either way, you have to believe the foundation of their relationship through sparring is going to say a lot about how this fight ends.
And then you can just go to YouTube and see the clip of it, and you decide if that was pay-per-view worthy, if they were just working on certain things or not. The reality is, with Mexican fighters get into a sparring session, it happened with Oscar de la Hoya and Julio Cesar Chavez, somebody wants to prove something. The young kid wants to prove he belongs, and the veteran champion says, hold on, kid, because I'm a man, and I'm going to prove to you what it's like to fight against a real man. The other thing is, in this same, not too long ago, just down the street, we saw Canelo Alvarez take on Terrence Bud Crawford. A great small man beating a great big man. Will Zurdo have to deal with the same skill set that we see in David Benavidez? How big a weight jump is 25 pounds realistically? Because we talk about guys going, what, 4, 6, 7 pounds? We're talking about 25 here, Chris.
It's a massive number, and it amounts to about 14% of his body weight. And look, we've seen light heavyweights jump up to cruiserweight in the past, but for the most part, these light heavyweights, they often take interim fights. Even Zurdo Ramirez, when he came up to cruiserweight for the first time, he fought Joe Smith Jr., a light heavyweight, at a catchweight. He eased his way up into this weight class. David Benavidez is jumping straight into the deep end of the pool, and I've been listening to him talk all week long about how healthy he feels, how great he feels, how he's been sparring with cruiserweights and with heavyweights. That's fine, but when you get in there, my take is that you don't know what you don't know. You don't know if your speed is going to be the exact same, if your chin is going to hold up at this weight. It took Zurdo Ramirez 4 fights to get truly comfortable at this weight. I remember Zurdo's debut at cruiserweight. His body looks nothing like it looks right now. He looks like he's a full-fledged cruiserweight at this moment. He's going to use that body. He is going to lean on David Benavidez. He is going to show him physically that this is a new weight class.
Yeah, I mean, when you take a look at this situation, is really, you looked at the weigh-in, and it was the first time you saw David Benavidez look small in any fight. All right, these are the fighters, the 4 of them who have gone from light heavyweight to cruiserweight and won titles. Tomas Adamek, Virgil Hill, Darius Mikulszewski, and Dwight Mohamed Kawi. So you're talking about some notable guys who made that jump 25 pounds. And now at the T-Mobile Arena, you can buy the pay-per-view to see if David Benavidez is capable of making that same jump right here in Las Vegas. Or will El Zurdo say, hey buddy, I'm the big boy here, just like when you were a teenager and we were sparring inside the ring. We're ready for action inside the ring as the folks start to trickle into the T-Mobile Arena. Mauro Ronaldo, it's all yours.
Thank you very much, Bernardo, and we are set for a scheduled 4-rounder at a contract weight of 138 pounds. Dylan Capetillo, who's 1-0 with 1 knockout, representing Mexico, takes on James Pierce, who's 2-0 with 2 KOs. So early in their respective careers, someone's has got to go, and there is James Pierce, an estimated 21 amateur fights, former basketball player who works at a brewery. I guess that would make him a true brew-collar fighter. Meanwhile, Dylan the Threat Capetillo, well, boxing is in his blood. He's trained by his father, Jorge, and none other than Tyson Fury calls Capetillo the best prospect in boxing. Let's get the official introductions now from Miguel Flores.
Ladies and gentlemen, we continue the action here from T-Mobile Arena for First on Prime. It is brought to you by Golden Boy Promotions and Samson Boxing in association with TGB Promotions. Sponsored by Thomas J. Henry Law, VMC Cocktails, Linear Protein Bar, and Mortal Kombat 2, only in theaters May 8th. Our 3 judges ringside for this one are Eric Cheek, Lisa Giampa, and Patricia Morse-Jarman. The referee in charge of the action is Alan Huggins. And now Premier Boxing Champions present 4 rounds in the super lightweight division. Introducing first in the red corner, he wears the maroon and white trunks. He weighed in at 134.8 pounds. His record stands undefeated, 2 victories, both wins by knockout, no losses. Representing Phoenix, Arizona by way of Omaha, Nebraska, here is James Pierce. And now introducing his opponent across the ring in the blue corner. He's wearing the black, red, and green trunks. He weighed in at 136.2 pounds. His record stands 1 victory with 1 by knockout, no defeats. Representing Las Vegas, Nevada, here is the young, talented prospect, Dylan La Amenaza Capetillo.
All right, come on, guys. Okay, gentlemen, you both received my instructions. Obey my commands at all times. Protect yourself at all times. Anything from here on up is good. From here on up is good. Touch gloves. Glove.
The southpaw James Pierce, not exactly on the fast track at 34 in his third professional fight, representing Terrence Crawford country, Omaha, Nebraska. Meanwhile, Capetillo made his pro debut at just 17, and the fight lasted just 38 seconds as he blasted out Jesus Antonio Rios Castro. The guy's name is longer than the fight lasted.
Yeah,
April 11th.
That first left hook that Capetillo threw in his career, he was able to score a knockdown with it. So we'll see tonight against Pierce, as you mentioned, 34 years old, double the age of Capetillo.
And Capetillo's had a lot of experience in the gym, boxing since the age of 8 when he trained with Jorge Linares. At 12, he was around Canelo. At 13, he was in camp with Manny Pacquiao. His mom, Griselda, and his father, Jorge, run the popular Capetillo boxing gym in Las Vegas. So, Abner, he's been around the greats.
Oh, yes, he has. And you can tell, I mean, in his boxing abilities, this is a guy that we saw grow up. If you have social media, you saw this kid grow up before your eyes. And, yeah, this is a guy that starts fast. Speaking of Capetillo, last fight I was there, I was getting a soda. By the time I came back, the fight was over. But, hey, something we were talking about, you know, off headsets. Perhaps the fighters might be a little dry. They don't seem like, you know, they don't have any sweat on them. They weren't, you know, ready to come out of this, you know, for this fight quite yet.
Well, that's
they weren't ready after a 4-round knockout in our first fight. What have they been waiting for?
Yeah, that's just part of being a pro, knowing how to time it. Maybe they kind of did have to fix that timing a little bit
nice
with that
shot
knockdown.
by Pierce.
Yeah, Capetillo
lands a hard right hand. Pierce to Capetillo, and Capetillo getting a first taste now of a southpaw as well early in his career.
Oh yeah, and he already got that taste of those small gloves. He said in that first fight, they definitely feel a little bit different.
Pierce isn't here just to be an opponent, not to be the B-side. He's here to test the youngster. Despite his advanced age and also having just relative inexperience, Pierce is off to an aggressive start.
Yes, he's landed that left hand really good. And yeah, pretty interesting that Capetillo already taking on a softball. Like you mentioned, Mauro, I remember when I started my career, we tried to stay away from these fighters, you know, early
like
on.
Apollo Creed's trainer Duke, you don't mess with a southpaw.
Yeah, they're difficult to fight, and then we can see it in this round. Really difficult for Capetillo to get in.
Under a minute remaining in the opening round, and Capetillo continues to search there using a sharp jab to gain the distance, but Pierce counters with a right.
Yeah, Pierce caught him on the way out, but Capetillo's finding success coming over the top with that left hand of his. Now also Capetillo didn't find out who his opponent was going to be this week till Tuesday. So that is playing a little bit. They had a
But at this age, I think you got to be ready, almost like in the amateurs, right? Just to take on anybody you can. But I understand what you're saying. Still a short notice. There's a looping right hand that lands for Capetillo. Capetillo again, sharp with the jab.
And that's exactly what he said to us in the fighter meetings before he found me.
Check left hook there by Capetillo.
Yeah, now he's doing a good job, Capetillo. He's not forcing anything now in these last couple of seconds. He's doing a lot better, so you can't force anything in this fight quite yet. Figure out this southpaw opponent.
Yes, very composed at just 17 years of age and already feeling the heat from Pierce and standing his ground, accounting.
I know what they want to do. Listen, they want you to lunge in. Don't do that. So they can catch you leaning in. So don't do that. So this is what we have to do. Feint. We'll catch him in between, okay? Now you want to be the counterpuncher. You hear me? And when you get him, you go after him. Close your guard, okay? He's going back. And here's the right. Beautiful left hand, right hand from Pierce, uppercut as well. Timing him just like the corner said about Capetillo, but there's that left hook from Capetillo towards the end where he kind of seemed like he was figuring him out. So let's see if he listens to his corner in the second round.
The beginning of round 2, scheduled for only 4 rounds at a contract weight of 138 pounds, so more of a sprint than a marathon. And when you look at Capetillo, and there's limited tape, of course, but he really is comfortable fighting at mid-range. He's disciplined, composed, built around that left hook to the head and body. He told us he wants rounds, but he's always hunting the finish.
Yeah, and you can't really take too many rounds. Like you mentioned, it's more of a sprint. But
nice right hand by Capetillo.
His corner, as you mentioned, Amber, he wants Capetillo to let him lead the dance, stop rushing in, getting countered.
Yes, and he started that, early on. He made a mistake. It's okay. He's young. He's learning. He's learning on the job right now.
Series of devastating right hands by Capetillo, and Pierce is feeling the heat.
What a change. What a change. Listen to your corner always. They know, especially your father. He's telling him wait, be composed, and wait for Pierce to get in. And there it is. Beautiful counter punching from Capetillo.
And that guard is wide open. And there's been a path paved for Capetillo's right hand right down the middle, Justin.
Yeah, he's kind of getting that angle a little bit, but he's also got to be a little bit careful, especially as he kind of develops as a pro on his exits. That's when Pierce is kind of still catching him once Capetillo finishes his combo. You got to get your head off the line.
Yeah, he's lucky he's only throwing one punch, but yeah, if Pierce were to follow up with more punches, he would definitely catch Capetillo.
Oh, and Pierce caught him there with the jab from the southpaw position. Capetillo continues to march forward, backing up Pierce.
A little variation in the left hand of Capetillo as well, and he is a dominant lefty. Started boxing just orthodox as a kid. His dad
he is a natural lefty, right, but fights orthodox. Nice weapon to have in your back pocket.
Yeah, he said, well, just like his promoter, Oscar De La Hoya, maybe he said, hopefully history can repeat itself, but good right hand right there from Pierce.
Capetillo, as we talked about, saying that this moment has been written since childhood, told that he would be a future champion. He's now turning that vision into reality, of course, just beginning his professional career, but he said he wants to be the 3rd Las Vegas-born champion, following in the footsteps of Ishe Smith and Rolando Romero. Nice right uppercut on the inside by Capetillo, but he continues to cut off Pierce, and Pierce now clinching.
And I'm liking this from Capetillo. You're looking at a young kid that's making adjustments. This is his 2nd round. He listened to his corner, the totally different type of fight that he's fighting in the 2nd round. And before you know it, he's going to start pressuring and go for the kill. But beautiful round for Capetillo.
Thrown over 50 punches, landed 18 in this round, doubling his output from round 1, so a much better nice combination by Capetillo.
Once you get out. At the bell.
Pitching southpaw now, Capetillo.
Lands the left hand and just misses with a sweeping right.
Hey, bro, you're not respecting your punches, baby. What's wrong? You find your red. You don't want to throw because you're not throwing enough. What's wrong? Why ain't you throwing those hands, bro? You're not respecting them, doggy. What's up? Okay? You're respecting a little too much, doggy. Come on. All right, don't spit it. Drink that shit. Drink it.
And here comes a lazy jab from Capetillo, something he's going to have to learn. You can't just throw, to the body like that and leave the head exposed. He paid dearly right there with the right hand from Pierce. It wasn't a power punch, but little things that, the corner himself had to.
Yeah, Sonny Gutierrez reading Pierce, the version of the riot act there, wondering what's going on. No need to be listening to Aretha Franklin's R-E-S-P-E-C-T. It's time to get down to business.
Yes, and also when that was exactly what Capetillo, his corner, told him, lunging in.
Yes. Round number 3, again scheduled for only 4. Dylan Capetillo and James Pierce, both in the early stages of their career, despite the big age difference. Pierce, 34, doubled the age of the 17-year-old Capetillo.
Yeah, it's a kid fighting a man right now. But I'm liking what I'm seeing from Capetillo. Again, the adjustments, now being patient, the jab, turning a southpaw to his left. Beautiful, good work.
And I'll tell you what, Pierce has improved from those first couple fights of his. He's been kind of competing in that team boxing, and so he fought just 15 days ago in that, so he's sharp right now.
And Capetillo, of course, the more rounds, the more questions will be asked and answered, and he does have a little cut underneath that left eye that he's going to have to monitor as well. So, of course, the more you fight, the more adversity you will learn to deal with, and of course, adversity is that's how you grow.
It is right now where you're going to see the mistakes mistakes you're making. A young Capetillo, I know he's going to go back to the gym. The father's going to tell him he's going to watch this fight. And yeah, little things like that. Even then, you know, push him, make some room, and throw your punches. Don't just, you know, stay right in front of him.
Because that's what Pierce is trying to do. He's trying to time Capetillo lunging in. He was inside there, and he kind of just accepted, you know, staying in tight. He had both hands free, didn't try and throw anything. So working on the inside, especially against a southpaw, could really benefit him. Because the closer you get, the less kind of southpaw they are.
Guided by Cinco de Mayo legend Oscar de la Hoya, Dylan Capetillo, proud of his Mexican-American identity and getting to display his skills early in his career on this vaunted Cinco de Mayo weekend. And what about that? 17 years old, your second pro fight is on Cinco de Mayo weekend on the undercard of David Benavidez versus Gilberto Ramirez.
Yeah, it's a huge card for his culture, himself, his family, and he's excited to show how composed he is. And I'll tell you what, he's going against a sharp southpaw right now. That's a tough test in your second fight. Pierce is doing well this round.
Yeah, you got to give him a lot of credit. Again, you know, fighting this off on your second fight, and not anyone would do it, especially at 17. So, you know, good for Capetillo. And Pierce, he's been landing some shots as well. Good counter punches. They're staying at range. But again, the jab, the distance, good from Capetillo.
Oh, nice left hand there by Capetillo as Pierce was putting on the pressure. That left hand was, the right hand blocked by Pierce. Under 30 seconds left in the third round. Again, only scheduled for 4. Body shot by Capetillo. Right hand upstairs by Pierce.
Yep, and that was Capetillo. He lunged in with that body shot, but he kind of admired his work a bit, and that's how that left hand.
Oh, and a combination from the southpaw Pierce, and Capetillo immediately evacuates the ropes and comes back with a combination of his own. Maturity, watching growth before our very eyes.
Yeah, those are the kind of reactions you want to see from a fighter early on. Great comeback from Capetillo.
Toalla para sus
Towel.
Gracias, chico. Respira fuerte, hijo.
Deep breath, deep breath.
Bien, hijo.
Good, son, good.
Okay, voy a limpiar el vocal, okay?
Okay, I'm going to clean the mouthpiece, all right?
Dilo. Respira fuerte, hijo. Hold it. Tira, Dylan. No vamos a noquear a todos, está bien, así boxealo como lo estás haciendo bien.
We're going to see some right hands like Capetillo was landing. Of course, beautiful work against the softball. The right hand, we know, it's always lethal, it's always key. There it is, timing well, there it is, patient. And he threw right when he threw, right in between those punches. So smart, you know, little things that we're seeing from a young Capetillo.
Yeah, he was timing that jab. He slipped inside that a few times. Even came up with that left uppercut of his as well.
So that lets you know that this kid is not just throwing a throw. He's thinking in there.
Fourth and final round of this matchup. At a contract weight of 138 pounds, highly touted prospect Dylan Capetillo taking on the spoiled-minded James Pierce. Just his third professional fight at the age of 34. Had a relatively short amateur career. Former basketball player. Trains out of Sonny's boxing gym in Goodyear, Arizona. But Capetillo, very composed, methodical, lands a counter right there upstairs.
But he's in a fight, though, and that's what some matchmakers could really get worried when you have that opponent that's 2-0, 1-0. They don't know how to lose yet. Pierce does not know how to lose. He's trying to do anything he can to win this fight, landing some good shots.
You took the words out of my mouth. I mean, you got to give it to Pierce. Pierce is not looking bad in this fight as well. I think, yeah, Capetillo's winning, but, you know, not a bad performance from Pierce either. Especially for, you know, older fighter that he is, 34 years of age and only 2 fights. Late start.
Let's see if Capetillo starts to really kind of turn it on right now. He's letting
Look at the percentage of total power punches landed. Anything over 40 is a great night at the office. He's at 59%. And beautiful right hand popping Pierce's head back. And a sweet left hook on the escape. So using angles, I mean, this is why we watch these youngsters. And this is what he's expected to do if he is as highly touted as they say he is. He's getting a little bit of everything in this fight.
Yeah, he's showing that he can do a lot of different things well. Right now he's countering and kind of sniping Pierce, but we'll see right here as Pierce is pressing.
And Pierce has earned his paycheck tonight as well.
100% there. Beautiful head movement there from Capetillo as well. But I like that he's patient. He's not rushing anything. And he's not trying to look for the knockout. He knows this is the last round. And, you know, other younger kids would want to get a knockout. But
Uppercut on the inside. Good defense along the ropes, but you're right, Abner, and I love the way he resets. There's great footwork, great balance. It's the fundamentals, the textbook stuff. And he's probably still reading a high school textbook studying for exams, but he is looking to pass this exam here tonight. And so far, he's doing a great job, but he's in a tough fight against him.
Yeah, but once again, there's Pierce landing that great left hand. And Capetillo, he's moving a ton, and he's sniping him, like I said, kind of one at a time at the moment. He's trying to time once again.
But it's been a good round for Pierce.
Yes, and I would like to see Capetillo kind of use a little bit more combos, especially on the inside.
He seems a little bit tired in this round now, Capetillo. First time going the distance, trying to box, trying to use 1 or 2 shots at a time.
Oh, there's a left hand right down the middle by Pierce, and Capetillo slipping that shot.
Oh, Pierce close and strong.
Rounder here is Pierce having success down the stretch as he lands 17 of 73 punches in the 4th round compared to 11 of 50 for Capetillo. But overall, Capetillo has a slight edge, but definitely growing and definitely learning and definitely being tested and being asked some important questions early.
Yeah, and that's fight. He's going to learn a lot from that fight, especially against the ropes. You saw him right there to close that round. Pierce caught him a few times, and also that gas tank a little bit, because once again, Pierce was closing to end that 4th round. Not sure, maybe if it was a 6-round fight, that might have looked a little different, but Capetillo did really good work, showed he has a lot of tools in that bag of his.
All right, as we await the official decision, let's bring you back to what went down yesterday, the weigh-in for the much-anticipated main event. David Benavidez moving on up like George and Weezy again, looking to become the first-ever fighter to win titles at 168, 175, and 200. His light heavyweight title isn't on the line, but Zurdo Ramirez's 2 belts at 200 are. It's Benavidez versus Ramirez, the biggest fight size-wise in Mexican history, and it's your main event on Cinco de Mayo weekend.
You guys can come on in.
All right, let's go back in the ring now, and Miguel Flores has the name of the winner.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 4 rounds of action, we go to the judges' scorecards. Judges Eric Cheek, Lisa Giampa, and Patricia Morse-Jarman all see it the same, 39-37. For your winner by unanimous decision, Dylan La Amenaza Capetillo.
Capetillo's wearing a cap. He might want to take that hat off to his opponent, James Pierce, who gave it all he got. But this Cinco de Mayo weekend will be memorable for Dylan the Threat Capetillo. At just 17, he's now 2-0 as a pro. And speaking of pros, let's go back up to Bernardo Osuna.
Thank you very much, Mauro. And you see just the pride of Jorge Capetillo, the father of Dylan Capetillo. They've been building him up since he was a kid, very much like Floyd Cashflow Diaz, like Floyd Mayweather, where you would see him just shadow boxing with his father and his uncle in the gym. That's been the life that Dylan Capetillo has led. And we invite you to buy the pay-per-view. This is the type of action you can expect when David Benavidez takes on Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez tonight, starting at 8 p.m. Eastern. We have an entire team here ready to bring you the best of the card. Right here, our preliminary fights continue. And what did you guys make of Dylan Capetillo's first real fight? Because the debut was just a blowout, so we really didn't get to see much of him. What was your impression, Chris?
I think there's a lot of potential in Dylan Capetillo, and I think when you're watching a fight like this, you have to remember, at 17 years old, most guys are not fighting someone of that caliber. And I'm not going to sit here and say James Pierce is a future world champion, but he's better than a lot of guys that someone Capetillo's age would be fighting at 17 years old. Look, most of these guys, they go down to Mexico and start their career. Diego Pacheco, I remember, started his career fighting his first 2 fights down in Mexico when he was 17 years old. This kid's here in Las Vegas fighting a real guy in his second pro fight. There are things you can nitpick. I didn't love how he gives up his height as much as he does, kind of hunches over a little, but at 17, with that kind of family background, he's going to improve very quickly. And Golden Boy, Say what you want about them. They are very good at finding guys. These diamonds in the rough, they just find guys. Ryan Garcia, Kid Schofield, you go down the list. They have very good at identifying blue chip talent, and I think this kid might have some of that.
Right, and Dylan now having Oscar De La Hoya as a mentor is certainly not a bad thing in that development. So what I took away from this performance was you can really see that experience of growing up in a professional gym with world champions coming in and out, that you never saw Capetillo lose his poise. And think about it. A guy twice his age, a southpaw, on almost no notice whatsoever. This could have been a showcase first-round knockout against a different caliber of opponent, but this is a smart young fighter and an experienced one, despite being so young, and Capetillo, who knows how much more important in the long run going the full 4 rounds in this fight, being forced to make adjustments truly is for him.
Yeah, the physical tools are impressive. He's got great length. He's obviously got some pop. Like I said, I think there are things he can iron out as he gets a little bit older, start to fight, start to use that height, use that length, keep guys off the jab, fire off that 1-2. These are things that when he's the ripe old age of like 19, he's going to be able to have figured out at that point. Off to a very good start in his pro career.
Yeah, with that quick blowout, all of a sudden you start to think you're a knockout artist and you forget that you have to just work those fights like you did as an amateur. We'll see a lot more of Dylan Capetillo moving forward. Just his second professional fight, goes a distance, but it was a challenge. He wasn't fighting those Mexican cab drivers that Greg Haugen was talking about back in the day, earned him a beating against Julio Cesar Chavez. Let's stay with the theme of Cinco de Mayo.
Great Greg Haugen reference right there. Okay, we're bringing that back. All right.
All right, 1994, Chavez against Frankie Randall, the rematch, and it was not a sweet revenge because there was a cut, but Chavez was able to avenge his first professional loss. Oscar De La Hoya's first headliner as a pay-per-view was a civil war against fellow Californian Rafael Ruelas. And then in 2005, Diego Chico Corrales against Jose Luis Castillo, arguably the best fight of the century, one of the most dramatic rounds, that 10th round ever seen. Joe Goosen, who will be on the broadcast, was on the winning side in that memorable fight. And then Oscar De La Hoya against Floyd Mayweather. The last time that Mayweather was a B-side to anybody, and this was the first pay-per-view to surpass 2 million sales. And then it was Mayweather-Pacquiao, setting all-time pay-per-view records at the time, even if it did happen 5 years too late. Guys, you know what? Let's do it again. Why not? It's 2026. Canelo Chavez Jr., Canelo proved to be the better of the two, has gone on to headline 9 years on Cinco de Mayo weekend. There's a level of pride associated with fighting on Cinco de Mayo based on past history. There's no option but to deliver action.
From Julio Cesar Chavez to myself, making it global. And now it continues with David Benavidez versus Zurdo Ramirez. This is where boxing's biggest stage and Cinco de Mayo weekend come together. This weekend became sacred in boxing. Its history, its identity. Mexican and Mexican-American fighters step into the ring, carry not just belts, but the weight of their culture and generations before them. Zurdo is no stranger to making history. He is a unified world champion, having stepped into enemy territory to secure his belt. Benavidez is fighting to become a 3-division world champion. This is a guaranteed war. Mark my words.
Back here in Las Vegas, Nevada, just across the street from the MGM Grand, a site of a plethora of great fights. This is our full pay-per-view fight card beginning at 8 p.m. Eastern. David Benavidez headlines against Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez. Before that, in our co-main event, Armando Resendiz, he will defend his WBA super middleweight title for the first time against Jaime Munguia, who you would think is a champion because you've been seeing him on big cards forever now. The last 7 years, he's done it not as a champion since he was at 154 pounds. Then Oscar Duarte, he would have fought King Kong if Angel Fierro came in at 200 pounds. At cruiserweight, didn't matter. He wasn't going to waste 2 camps, and he's going to be in against Fierro in a great fight. Jorge Chavez against Jose Tito Sanchez, undefeated fighters. And then Isaac Lucero against Ismael Flores, who comes all the way from Spain by way of Argentina. So let's take a look at what we're anticipating for tonight alongside Chris Mannix and Brian Campbell inside the T-Mobile Arena. That little by little starts to trickle in. The fans are starting to come in because it's Cinco de Mayo weekend, and maybe they were getting their carne asada just a few minutes ago, their tacos, but now it's time to see some action. So let's start off with our opener. Ismael Flores, tough Argentine. He's going to be taking on Isaac Lucero. There's a lot of comparisons just because of his physique that, you know, are probably not there yet. But what is there for us to watch out for Isaac Lucero?
Yeah, we don't have to rush the Canelo comparisons is really what we're trying to say here. But what you see in Isaac Lucero, you have to respect. Growing contender in the 154-pound division, is poised, can box, but also not afraid to mix it up when he needs to. And for all the talk rightfully about whether David Benavidez can use this weekend to make this great boxing holiday his own and further grow into the pantheon of Mexican-American greats, here's an unbeaten Mexican kid here who moved to Tijuana at the age of 17 to double down on his career, and he's got a chance to use this Cinco de Mayo date to really jump through your screen and prove that he's got next in the future, and this is just the beginning.
Yeah, there's a lot of buzz around Isaac Lucero amongst the promotion during this fight week. They think this kid has a bright future, and like Brian said, the power is there, the skill set is there, great punch plays from the tapes that I've watched of Lucero. They think he's the real deal. I think he's going to get a good test, though, in Ismael Flores, the guy that's on a winning streak of his own, has some confidence coming into this fight. I think this is going to be a fun fight and a good test for a good young fighter.
Hey, speaking of, there is Isaac Lucero, and you can see the smiles. I mean, he says he was built for this. Winning 4 Mexican national championships will get you ready for the big stage, but you really don't know what you're going to feel until you get here. But he's got Fernando Fernandez with him, a longtime trainer with Eric El Terrible Morales. And so when you have that pedigree, all of a sudden you can walk into a place like this with that confidence.
Yeah, with that Eric Morales background, I think you know how he's going to fight in the ring. He's going to be aggressive going out there. Yeah, he's got a little bit of swagger. He's got a little bit of fight to him. He's got a lot of tools and that skill set. And he's fighting in arguably the best division in all of boxing right now. We know 154 is loaded from the top to bottom. Sebastian Fundora has made his stand as the top guy in the division. We've got Virgil Ortiz sitting out there, Boots and Zayas going at it at the end of June. So this kid, highly ranked by 2 of the sanctioning bodies, has a chance to make some moves in this weight class, put himself in position rather quickly to be in a place to fight for a world title.
And he also kind of looks the part. He's been groomed for this opportunity to get into the title picture, to put himself into a big fight, which certainly he can have the opportunity in a breakout performance tonight. He's got that confidence with him that I belong here, and that really matters at this point. Sure, he's going to have to step up, and this is certainly a tough matchup where he's going to really earn that in the ring. But from a demeanor standpoint, when you talk to him, very much a believing in what he brings to the table.
All right, we got problems with your mic, BC, but let's get to Jorge Chavez, 15-0-1, and he'll be taking on Jose Sanchez. This is a battle of 2 undefeated or unbeaten fighters because Sanchez is 15-0 with 9 knockouts. So what do you anticipate from that fight?
I think it's going to be a physical fight as well. I think Chavez, Sanchez, this is going to be a tremendous battle in the 122-pound division. Both guys like to bang. Both guys are physical, and I think both these guys, seeing them around this week, relish this opportunity to be on this type of stage. We talked about a hot division. 122 is a hot division as well. We just saw Inoue and Nakatani fighting for all the belts at 122 pounds. These guys are a little bit further away from that type of spot, but another opportunity for 2 guys on a big stage to put themselves in a big position.
And you got 2 hungry fighters here. They haven't hid from the idea that they're in this to win the night, to steal the show. Will one of them turn into the boxer? Will they stand and trade like they said? What's going to be interesting is how much they also pulled from knowing from each other. Tito Sanchez won an amateur bout when the 2 faced off as amateur rivals in 2018. The change, now that they're professionals, as Chavez believes the tables has turned. He's the better fighter coming into this with 2 unbeaten guys knowing they have the opportunity to let their name be known on this special date. I have to believe that both are going to give all they've got, and we're going to be the benefits of it.
And you know what? It's a California fight. Well, we got the Coachella Valley against Baja California, Tijuana. So you know there's that Mexican-American rivalry going on in this fight. And what about the feature bout of the evening? We got Oscar Duarte, who, I mean, he dealt with the heartache. You talk about bad Fridays in consecutive fight weeks. The fight with Richardson Hitchens for the IBF world title gets canceled when Hitchens, quote unquote, is ill. And then you get this situation where Angel Fierro's coming off of a whole plethora of issues, and he misses weight, not by 1, not by 2, but 3 pounds. And Duarte says, I cannot let this camp go to waste, BC.
Yeah, and look, Duarte is like, I'm going to use this platform to make my name. I'm going to prove that I belong in this title picture, and then I'm going to take this opportunity and get a title shot next. So we know what's at stake for Duarte, but I'm not going to completely count out Fierro, just from the standpoint that he seems to relish being the villain in these type of fights. He'll come in and miss weight. He's pulled out of fights before. He's been disqualified in fights before. I believe he'll have a technical disadvantage against the hungry Duarte, but Fierro knows what part he's playing. Potential spoiler, and if you've seen him fight before, you know he's going to go to war as soon as he can.
Let me tell you, Fierro could have come in 50 pounds overweight, and Oscar Duarte would have taken that fight. He could have come in looking like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, and Oscar Duarte would have taken that fight, given the last couple of months that Duarte has had. And I agree, it is a physical, dangerous fight. I just love what I've seen from Oscar Duarte since he linked up with Robert Garcia. He has been on an upwards trajectory, beating some very good guys in this 140-pound weight class. He has had some success. That power is still there, but has been backed up by some good technique as well. He's part of Golden Boy's stable there, and just a guy that has some great success over the last couple of fights. And look, the stakes for Duarte, they really couldn't be higher at this point. Since Teofimo Lopez rejected the IBF's order of fighting Lindolfo Delgado for that vacant 140-pound title, the IBF, I'm told, is going to wait for the outcome of this fight. If Duarte comes through it, he is going to be allowed to challenge Delgado for that vacant title. So he's going to get his title shot if he comes out with a win, and there shouldn't be any more motivation than that for Oscar Duarte.
And look, we hear how many other guys say, look, that's my brother, I would never fight him. Oh, he's this, I would never fight him. Guess what? Lindolfo Delgado, undefeated Mexican Olympian. Oscar Duarte, he has a potential opportunity to re-earn that spot for a world title shot tonight. And he says, look, it's business. We both train with Robert Garcia. We'll figure it out, because these opportunities, as we see, may not come around again. They've worked so hard to earn it, BC, and neither one wants to give it up.
Look, combat sports fans love to hear that, right? The idea that it doesn't matter if we're teammates, if we have the same trainer, if we know each other. What matters is living out our dreams and going for it. And I think you're seeing a more business-like approach from Duarte. He has used his greatest opportunity to date, which was a showcase opportunity against Ryan Garcia and a high-profile defeat, to seemingly double down. He's more confident than ever. He's increasing he's coming in better shape. He's coming in more technical at times, but he's never going to sacrifice what he does bring into the table of a willingness to go for it. And that's a dangerous combination now, retooling himself and back in the title picture.
By the way, that dynamic with the same trainer is kind of in play for this fight. Robert Garcia trained Angel Fierro when he turned into the Karate Kid in Mexico and kicked his last opponent. So there's some familiarity. They never sparred in that Robert Garcia gym, but they shared that gym for a time. So Robert Garcia knows Fierro, knows some of his strengths, knows some of his weaknesses. So that should be an advantage for Oscar Duarte tonight.
Let's talk about Angel Fierro, because we always talk about fighters coming in with the right mindset. And it's probably the opposite for Angel Fierro, but there's also guys who thrive when things are chaotic. Is that the case with Fierro from your experience?
That's exactly who Fierro is. And look, he's not always going to say the right thing. He's not always going to behave the right way. He's loose. He gets loose on turn 4. Let's be honest about it. But that looseness can hurt him on the scales, and in this case, coming in overweight. But there seems to be a crazy like a fox thing with him. You can make the argument, did he maybe not cut the final stretch of this weight miss to give himself a physical advantage despite having to pay the fee, or in that case, pay the toll of having done so? Fierro is a guy who he's a little bit raw. He's a little bit, got the huevos turned up a little bit too high sometimes. But he's also a spoiler in that regard. He made his name going in on late notice against former champion Gilberto Machado and delivering a big-time come from behind KO after being down. Signed a big promotional contract after that. Has been in tough fights, including with Isaac Pitbull Cruz, and showed his true mettle. He also has made some rough decisions. We mentioned that DQ fight. Very difficult to defend that, but at the same time, does he need a big win? Oh yeah, he's going to give it everything he has.
That last part though, it's like, other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play? Like, he's had the worst 9 months you could possibly have in professional boxing, where he's blown weight twice and he was disqualified in a tune-up fight in Mexico because he kicked his opponent in the third round.
Doesn't he thrive on this chaos?
He does, and I would say this, he has in the past thrived on that. I wonder if he gives a damn anymore. When you miss weight by a pound, that's one thing. When you're missing it by almost 4 pounds, that tells me an entirely different story, and he's going up against a guy guy in Duarte that is incredibly disciplined, who probably didn't have to make this weight, but knew, hey, I want to be in line for that IBF title shot. I want to show them I can make weight. I'm going to do it. I'm going to be professional, and I'm going to get the job done tonight.
And someone else who has issues with weight and cuts to the very last minute is Jaime Munguia, but he has an opportunity for the first time in 7 years to become a world champion again. What do you expect from this fight, Chris? Because Armando Resendiz is coming off of the upset of the year against Caleb Plant. Nobody gave him a shot. He ruined the Plant-Charlo fight, and now he believes that he's the best at 68.
I'm going to give you some expert analysis here.
Please do.
I have no idea. I have no idea how this fight is going to play out, which makes it exciting. Look, I think on paper, Jaime Munguia is the better fighter. I think he's got the better resume. I think he's got the better offensive skills. He's working with Team Canelo now. But I also don't know what is left in the tank for Jaime Munguia. He has fought some wars dating back to the days of 154 pounds. He was battered in that fight against Canelo Alvarez. He was knocked out by a non-puncher in Bruno Saras. Yes, he avenged that loss over in Saudi Arabia a year ago, but I don't know if this guy, who's still young, is the shot-worn fighter. Whereas Resendiz, we have seen him against Caleb Plant succeed at the near highest level. Caleb Plant was viewed as a top guy at 168, but a couple of fights before that, he was stopped by Elijah Garcia. He has a loss to Marcos Hernandez. I don't know which one of these two guys is real at this stage. That's what's making this fight a pretty exciting one.
All right, there you see the tail of the tape. Munguia, 2 years older, but a lot more experience. And you see the height and reach advantage, all in favor of the fighter from Tijuana, Baja California. But Armando Resendiz, he says, I'm representing Nayarit. And anybody who's been to Punta Mita knows that beautiful land gives great things. And now they have a world champion. We invite you to buy the pay-per-view, but for now, we send it down to Mauro Ranallo and the team, where Iceman cometh. Daniel Blancas puts his undefeated record on the line against Raul Salomon. It's all yours.
Thank you very much, Bernardo. I cannot pronounce those names any better than you just did, but yes, we are scheduled for 10 rounds at a contract weight of 169 pounds, and it will be the undefeated Daniel Iceman Blancas battling Raul Money Salomon, who is 16-3-1 with 14 knockouts. He's never been stopped. This is just the second Las Vegas appearance for Salomon, and the first didn't go his way, but since that setback, he's unbeaten in 5 with 4 knockouts, building real momentum, and he's staying busy. This is his second fight in just over 2 months. And for Blancas, it's his 6th Las Vegas appearance. He's 5-0 with 3 knockouts, and he's competing in his first scheduled 10-round fight. So, the fighters are in the ring, and so is our ring announcer, Miguel Flores.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to T-Mobile Arena as Premier Boxing Champions brings you First on Prime. Once again, this is brought to you by Golden Boy Promotions and Samson Boxing in association with TGB Promotions. Sponsored by Thomas J. Henry Law, VMC Cocktails, Linear Protein Bar, and Mortal Kombat 2, only in theaters May 8th. Our 3 judges ringside for this one are Kermit Bayless, Eric Cheek, and Max DeLuca. The referee in charge of the action is Mark Nelson. And now Premier Boxing Champions presents our featured bout for First on Prime. It is 10 rounds in the super middleweight division. Introducing first in the red corner, he's wearing the gray and black trunks. He weighed in at 167.4 pounds. With the record standing 16 victories, 14 by knockout, opposite of 3 defeats and 1 draw. Representing Long Beach, California, here is Raul Salomon. And now introducing his opponent across the ring in the blue corner. He is wearing the colors of the Mexican flag. He weighs in at 166.8 pounds. His record stands a perfect 1, 14 victories, 7 by knockout, no defeats. Proudly representing Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the hard-hitting Daniel, the Iceman Blancas.
All right, seconds. Gentlemen, you had your instructions earlier. You know what I expect. Listen, punches from here up are considered good. Punches from here up are good. Obey my commands and protect yourself at all times. Touch them up. Good luck.
The 27-year-old Suleiman, a solid baseball player, starting catcher in his high school baseball team, hopes to hit his opponent as hard as fellow catcher Cal Raleigh hits a baseball. Meanwhile, Blancas, he's got 7 KOs in his 14 wins, looking to keep it perfect as we begin round number 1. And Blancas, known as the Iceman, my fellow Canadian Drake is dropping the album Iceman on May 15.
Okay.
I wonder if that means Kendrick Lamar drops Fireman on May 16.
Well, I'll tell you what, Daniel, Blancas drops his left hooks in his last two fights. His last 2 fights, he's knocked that opponent out cold and early with that left hook. But Solomon said he fell in love with boxing the first time he got punched in the face, so he could take a pretty good shot.
Yeah, he didn't grow up in boxing. He found it walking into a gym in Long Beach, California. Never looked back. He rose fast. 2-time California Golden Gloves champion, a 3-time regional winner. He chased an Olympic dream that was cut short by injury, but that setback did not end the journey. It just redirected it, and here he is, Cinco de Mayo weekend, on a big stage, looking to hand Blancas his first loss.
Yeah, it really fits this card, Moro, talking about Solomon, because his fighting style, it's going forward, aggressive. He's the type of guy that will break you down little by little. Right now, this is the first round. Blanca's doing good with the jab, but believe me, Solomon will find a way to get in.
Yeah, and right there, that's the one thing that Solomon has. It's great timing. He's landed that left hook a couple times in there, right over that top. And we'll see, Blancas has been timed coming in and dropped early in the past, so we'll see if Solomon can kind of time him up as Daniel's coming in there.
Scouting report on Blancas is that he's calm, he's composed, ready for action. He's promising a Cinco de Mayo weekend war built on his jab, his feints, footwork, and the left hook that we've talked about that he plans to sit down on, and stepping up as well in his first 10-round test.
And he's also showing right now that he can kind of use his feet a little bit as he continues to kind of jab and then keeps moving to the side, because that is what Solomon's very stationary. He sits in that pocket. He's waiting for a counter.
Yeah, one thing that Solomon's not doing, he's just following. He's not cutting off the ring. So that leaves for Blancas to get off easy. Use the ring. There you go, cutting off the ring as well. But, you know, again, Solomon being too patient, too slow in this first round.
Tactical start for both fighters. Only single digit connects in the first 2+ minutes. 45 seconds left in the first frame. Scheduled for 10 at a contract weight of 169 pounds. Suleiman has actually sparred with Armando Resendiz and Jaime Munguia. In fact, he sparred with Resendiz in preparation for their fights tonight. Resendiz defending his 168-pound title for the first time against former 154-pound titleist Jaime Munguia in a much-anticipated co-main event coming up later tonight on pay-per-view.
Yeah, Solomon has sparred with pretty much everybody, including David Benavidez.
Right cross there by Suleiman. Yes, he's had some great sparring.
Stop! Don't punch. Don't punch.
And now he's going against a Jose Benavidez trained fighter and Daniel Blancas. So a little interesting storyline there.
We will hear from Jose Benavidez Sr. in Blancas' corner.
I like this round. Good distance. High guard, I like that. But move a little bit more too. Jab upstairs, downstairs, and then hook with that jab. Change that jab, hook it. Upstairs, downstairs, and if he follows you, catch him with the right hand coming in. Okay? Because listen, he's good there. He's right in front of you. He moves, 1-2. He's trying to look for the body. Look what he's doing. 1-2 body. That's what he's trying to do. And stay off the ropes, please. You got good legs, okay? Just be aware of headbutts. Touch, touch, and then right hand. Touch, touch, and straight right hand. Just don't get confident, okay?
Jose Benavidez Sr., a busy man tonight. Of course, he'll be in his son's corner in the main event when David Benavidez challenges Gilberto Ramirez for his 2 cruiserweight titles. Benavidez, a current light heavyweight champion, his belt will not be at stake as we begin round 2, scheduled for 10. And Blancas and Solomon. Blancas now being backed up by Solomon. Solomon being the fighter marching forward, but nice combination put together there by Blancas.
Yep, and that's why Jaime Munguia brought Solomon in to kind of replicate that Canelo style. Obviously, he's not quite Canelo, but he does bring that style to you, and that's why Jose Benavidez Sr. wants Blancas to keep touch and catch him coming in, turn out.
This tempo fight, favorites Blancas without no doubt.
Beautiful.
Once Salomon starts pressuring and throwing a lot more, it's going to make it difficult for Blancas. But as far as now, he's taking full control of this fight.
Blancas really trying to beat David Benavidez with those combinations and has put together some crisp combos, but now backs up again as Solomon comes forward, inching. Nice countered left hook there by Blancas upstairs.
Oh, nice.
Sitting down in that right hand.
Yep, and those combinations.
Nice jabs to the body and upstairs. So good punch placement, good punch variety.
Yep, and those combinations are, Abner, but those are harder to time, right?
Definitely.
That guy that's looking to counter.
Yeah, definitely harder to time. He's changing the tempo in those fights, the speed on those punches, speaking of Blancas. But it's exactly what the corner told him. Jab upstairs, and then the right hand. So he's doing good. And again, staying at a good range. Not there, not
had
there.
success as well upstairs with a couple of left hooks. A very competitive second round with a minute and a half left. And a right hand by Solomon. Great combination upstairs, but Blancas responds with a right hand.
And we'll see that right there is why Jose Benavidez Sr. brought in Solomon to that Benavidez Campos for Benavidez Lemieux, because he knows what Solomon could do, and he said it's going to be a hell of a fight when I talk to him.
Minute left in the second. Right uppercut there by Blancas. Starting to work behind the jab now. Looking to blind Solomon. Solomon fires off a jab of his own, continues to march forward.
Yeah, but it's that pressure right now that Solomon is giving Blancas. He's right in front of him. Yeah, not a lot of punches thrown, but when he throws, he lands really good and really hard. So Blancas definitely on the defense right now and worried that he doesn't catch a heavy shot.
Solomon has to be careful when he squares up like that. That's when Blancas lights him up with combinations.
But you see what Solomon's looking for. Daniel will throw that jab and then kind of will leave that left hand down.
By Blancas.
Solomon's looking for that quick counter right hand.
He's trying to punch with him. I like that. There it is.
And Solomon doesn't waste much in there. He's 1-2 at a time. So that's where the combinations, you got to outwork him.
Solomon threw more punches around too, but Blancas landed more through these 3-minute stanza. We will hear from Edgar Jasso in the corner of Raul Solomon.
Listen, I know we're gonna start from little to more. You understand? Start closing up the gap. You're looking to counter with 2-3 punches. You're only giving me one. You understand? Give me a little bit more movement. Give me a double jab. You're only throwing one jab. That's why he's countering you. You understand? Nico.
It's very important to watch that left hook, right? I'm always going to remind with the left hook. Be patient, but don't be too patient, all right? Just start working the body. Continue working the body, okay? Give me some feints, all right? All right? Oh.
And here's a well-timed left hook from Blancas. Uppercut, body shot body shot right there with the left hook. And then stepping out, not staying in the pocket. That's exactly what you want to do if you're Blancas. Do not stay in there. There it is. Perfect example when you stay in there. Solomon will catch you because he's throwing with you. He's waiting for you to extend that jab.
And right there was why he was brought in for Canelo, because he did that little bit of a feinted left hand.
Both fighters have hit the deck like blackjack dealers here in Las Vegas. Solomon's been down twice in his career. Blancas has been down once. As we begin round number 3, Blancas along the ropes. Tries to move out to his left. Has to be careful. He'll go into the power alley of the right hand of Solomon.
Yeah, Solomon is kind of closing in. He snuck in a few little quick left hooks as well, and that is what Rico Santana was able to drop Blancas with. And right there, once again, that jab coming through. There's that quick right hand out of Blancas on the inside, but we'll see. He's got to get those hands up. Does Blancas, because once again, Solomon's got great timing, and he's just looking for that one quick counter, even though his coach told him you got to start looking for a little bit more, need 2-3 at a time.
Yeah, I want to see a little bit more investment to the body of your Solomon. If you want to take that type of tempo, that type of a slow pace, and take these rounds little by little, well, break them down. Slow down the fight for Blancas, but I'm seeing a lot of head hunting from Solomon. He does have power though.
There's a loaded left hook that was blocked by Suleiman as Blancas firing off the left hook, but still backing up. And now initiates the double right hand, able to angle out, goes to the body with the left hook. Another body shot by Blancas. And left uppercut. Blancas now beginning to find his timing and his rhythm.
And he's exiting, right, Abner? He's kind of doing his work and being aware of those counters.
Yeah, he's doing exactly what you have to do against an aggressive fighter, a fighter that's standing right in front of you.
Blancas
Combinations and then side steps.
Landing over 50% of his power shots. So off to a great start and beginning to use the jab efficiently as well. Under a minute remaining here in round number 3 at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. The prelims for a loaded Cinco de Mayo weekend pay-per-view card. Like the Loonies, we've got 5 on it. That's right. Cinco de Mayo means 5 peleas after Martes.
There was 5 Cinco jabs from Blancas. Back to back.
And he's showing a new weapon. He's showing a bit of an uppercut. That's something that he hasn't really shown in the past. But once again, he's developing as a pro with that Benavidez team.
Under a half minute remaining now in the third. Blancas continues to back up to the ropes, maybe trying to set a trap. Goes to the body and upstairs with a good jab. Suleiman almost jumping up to punch, not sitting down on his shot.
Yeah, well, he's got to work his way in. There is that height difference, but Blancas also does kind of crouch down a little bit. Big right hand.
2 by Blancas. And there, another shot caught Suleiman in the face. Coming up later tonight on pay-per-view, one of the most imposing punchers at 140 pounds, Oscar Duarte, who decided to take the fight despite Angel Fierro missing weight yet again. He didn't want to waste 2 camps. He was supposed to challenge Richardson Hitchens for a 140-pound title. Hitchens was sick day of, moved out of the weight classes, now at 147. Duarte says, I am a champion, and I'm going to prove it here tonight. Oscar Duarte against Angel Fierro in what should provide us with plenty of fistic fireworks.
He looks all business right now on that walk, and I'll tell you that. He's going to take out those 2 last weigh-in. Kind of, Fierro might be in for a tough one.
Quite the entrance right to your locker room. This is not even up to the fight. Poker face, for sure.
Yeah. This is the town you wanted. A big poker face. Round number 4 as Blancas and Solomon come out. Blancas again, though, backed up immediately by Solomon. Has Blancas on the ropes, but not taking advantage of it. And it's Solomon and Blancas' jab that is becoming a very important weapon.
Yeah, beautiful jab upstairs, downstairs, and he's hooking that jab. He's, again, changing the speed on that. Really good damage right there from the long distance, Blancas.
Left hook, Blancas ripping the left hook as he slipped. The Solomon punch sat down on that right hand as well.
And that's when Blancas' left hook is at the best, when he's able to kind of preload it. In the past, when he was a younger fighter, he would load it up at range, but on the inside, when he's able to slip and then explode, that's how he gets those big knockout shots with that left hook of his.
And again, no second gear from Solomon. Like Mauro mentioned, he did it right. He was right there, but he doesn't let his punches go.
And Blancas, during the COVID pandemic, went to nursing school, earning his CNA certification, honoring his parents' wish for a backup plan, because let's face it, in this sport, nothing is guaranteed. Nice right hand from Blancas. Left hook upstairs by Solomon. Good feint by Blancas, wanting to get Solomon to fight.
Yep, and those feints are one of the keys that Blancas said he was looking for in this fight, because that is another way to throw off that timing. And that, once again, is what Solomon is best at, is timing.
Blancas beginning to find his rhythm, Abner, even though he's lateral movement and on a back foot, but he's the one that's landing the shots, especially the jab.
Yeah, beautiful work. Like you said, the speed's there, the timing, and he's even controlling the center of the ring when he wants to, but he knows that he doesn't and shouldn't be there, so he decides to go on the outside, and again, it's beautiful work.
It's a muted output in terms of punches thrown, but Blancas more than doubling Solomon in terms of total connects here in the 4th round, scheduled for 10 with a minute left in this 4th frame.
Yeah, no urgency from Salomon. I mean, this is a big card, big opportunity for him, and I'm not seeing a lot from Salomon.
Good hand speed on display from Blancas.
Yeah, Blancas is showing a lot right now, and he's showing that he can kind of keep those punches short of his, even being a tall, lanky guy.
Coming up on the final 30 seconds of the fourth. Edge Blancas here in the fourth round.
Oh,
has countered left hook upstairs, jab to the body again. Final 15 seconds of round number 4 between the undefeated Daniel Iceman Blancas and Raul Money Suleiman. Who's got the money shot in their arsenal tonight?
Listen, he's getting desperate already. You're doing everything you want in there. You're playing with him. Listen, in this round, I have no problem if you want to pressure. Let's pressure a little bit, okay? Push him. Let's just push him. I want to see what he has. But close your guard. Get in, get in. But close your guard, okay? Moving, not just in front of him. Move your head. And a beautiful, educated jab from Blancas. Upstairs, downstairs, body shot. There it is, upstairs as a jab. I mean, it's been everything for Blancas with that jab, that distance. There it is, just schooling a Salomon in this fight.
As we reach round number 5, Blancas, a third-generation boxer, started at the age of 8 after going to the gym with his father and uncle to watch them train. Had about 100 amateur fights and now going to work with the jab and the left hooks on Suleiman here in round number 5. And you look at the jabs, and actually it's a much closer than I would have thought. It's been a more effective weapon for Blancas than it has for Suleiman.
Oh, yeah, big time. I mean, just as Jose Benavidez, you heard him in that corner. You're doing everything you want in there, but he wants Blancas to be inside now. He wants to see if he can kind of really, take the fight to Salomon, push this come-forward fighter back.
Oh, nice left hook to the body by Blancas. Looking to frame the shot there.
I don't think that's quite exactly what Blancas should do. We saw that Salomon landed there.
Nice right hand over the top by Blancas.
Again, but also Salomon landed his left hook. Again, you don't want to give opportunities like that to Salomon. Again, he is a big puncher. He's a guy that will break you down. So don't start boxing, start doing what you were doing and what was working for you as far as Blancas.
14 of his 16 wins have come by knockout for Suleiman. He's lost 3 times, but never been stopped.
Yeah, and Blancas has no KOs after round 4, so we'll get to really see that gas tank, both their first 10-round fights, the both of them, and I don't know. I think Jose really wants Blancas to put on a show, let the world know he's here, that there is a new name in the 168-pound division, and that would happen from pressing someone back, getting them out of there.
Of course, but I'm not even mad at this. This is brilliant. This is great work. This is boxing, what we're seeing from Blancas. And again, yeah, I mean, you want to see action as well, stay in the pocket, but I appreciate this as well.
Me too, but he's coming from that Benavidez camp.
Yeah.
Was asked to join the Benavidez camp to help Benavidez with Caleb Plant. That fight that Benavidez ended up coming back and winning, of course, showing off his power at 168 pounds. And his last fight against Anthony Yard showed it at 175. Will the power come 25 pounds north with him tonight against Gilberto Ramirez in the main event? We'll find out. But here's Suleiman and Blancas at close quarters with 45 seconds left in the 5th.
Yeah, and just like right there, you saw Suleiman. He's loading up on those shots, getting desperate. Once again, what kind of Jose said in that corner. So Blancas has just got to be aware of those 1 or 2 shots coming back. But he can be smart, load up on a few of those left hooks, kind of make Suleiman miss.
Suleiman's hands are low. How low can you go? Now he's got the high guard, but gets hit, takes some steam up. The punch rolled with that right hand.
And you see Suleiman took a step back right there, and that's kind of what the plan was from Blancas this round. And there's a big right hand over the top, too.
Body shots by Blancas. Flicking jab by Suleiman. We are at the midpoint of the scheduled 10-round fight at a contract weight of 169.
No veo que aguanta el güey. Sí, ¿verdad? Pero ¿sabes qué? Aguanta aquí arriba.
Listen.
Pero si me lo agarras con un uppercut,
When you catch him with the uppercut,
no va a aguantar,
he's not gonna take it. Finish to the body. Uppercut and then body. I'm sure he's not gonna take it.
Quiero que hay que arriesgar un poquito.
Let's risk a little bit more, okay? I want to see that risk. But when you get in the inside, uppercut, inside punches, uppercut, and then finish to the body.
Ahí es donde lo vamos a clavar. O toca, vente para la orilla, pum, a la orilla, ¿ok? Vaselina. No, pero no te me confíes, no te me confíes.
And here it is, Blancas, you know, jab upstairs, downstairs, but really smart from Salomon trying to get the, the hands down, but beautiful counter punch right there from Blancas. Again, being really obedient and really strict with that distance. Beautiful work from Blancas.
Both Blancas and Suleiman coming off knockout wins in their previous outings. The undefeated Daniel Iceman Blancas in the Mexican flag colors, Raul Money Suleiman in the gray and black trunks, and our unofficial scorer, Larry Hazard, has Daniel Blancas pitching a shutout through 5 rounds.
Going to his catcher in Solomon, as you mentioned at the beginning, former catcher.
But I know you'll appreciate the baseball analogy.
Yeah. And once again, Solomon said he chose boxing because he got punched in the face and he fell in love with it. I was kind of the opposite. Baseball for me.
Yeah, and he's doing a lot of that, catching and obviously taking a lot of shots to the head. Speaking of Salomon.
Yeah, that's right. He's a different kind of catcher tonight. Combination upstairs by Blancas, moving to his right, goes downstairs to the body, and then fires a left hook to the jaw.
And that left hook, you saw when he's able to double up on it, come back over the top, that's when he's able to really generate that steam on it.
Even showed some combinations from the southpaw stance momentarily as he was shifting. But look at Blancas going to work now. Avoids the sweeping left hook for Suleiman. Suleiman not just trying to walk down Blancas, but Blancas right at the range he needs to be at.
Yeah, right at the range. He's being really good, really educated again with that jab. The jab is everything for him in this fight, and it has it. It opens up the door for everything. It opens up the guard and the distance, and I'm just loving what I'm seeing from Blancas right now.
Yeah, that range is everything. He's controlling distance, either kind of stepping on that outside, staying away from the mid-range. Big uppercut.
Blancas will be the first to tell you don't win on fight night. You win in the work you put in the gym. And when you're a member of the Benavidez camp, you know you're going to be put to work.
Yeah, he said they train like animals in there. And even Solomon said that having experience. So he knew what he was up against tonight.
Here it is, changing the fight now. Blancas pushing him back. He's digging to the body. He's breaking him down.
Making the judgment. Yeah, now on the front foot, gets cuffed with a couple of right hands from Suleiman. But it's combinations from Blancas.
And what the corner told him, I want you to take a little bit more risks, and that's what he's doing right now.
But he's taking them smart. When he's smothering kind of those shots, getting his head down low, and being aware of those quick counters coming back.
Yeah, you're right about that. Smart pressure. And moving.
Another left hook to the body. And Blancas really beginning to open up his advantage on Suleiman. The first half of this fight belonged to Blancas in the 6th, making even more of a pronounced statement. 26 of 79 compared to 9 of 64 for Suleiman. So a sizzling 6th round for Iceman Blancas.
Breathe. Hey, listen. He's done. He's cooked. It's whenever you want, okay? Just more body shot, okay? Uppercuts. But listen, right here, the chin. You see that? Or the body shot. Or the solar plex. But listen, if you hit downstairs, you want to come up with something. Bend your knees a little bit, and I want to see the uppercut. This is exactly what the corner's asking from Blancas, the uppercut. Bend your knees and uppercut coming. There it is. Oh, it was a 45 right there. But here it comes. There's that one, the uppercut. And that's what the corner's asking for him. They saw it was successful in the last round, and they want more of it.
What adjustments does Suleiman need to do to try to get back into the fight, Justin?
Well, number one, he's got to definitely keep those hands up. And he's not a guy that's going to use his feet. He's pretty much going to do the same thing every round, and that's going to be trying to walk you down. But he's going to have to punch kind of where Blancas is moving to. You see Blancas is moving left and right, and Solomon's just kind of following him, waiting for his turn.
And so far, Blancas has landed more body shots than a bachelor party here in Sun City, as he's really going downstairs and making that investment. And again, everything is behind the stick, the jab.
You saw that quick little uppercut right there from Blancas, but what Jose Benavidez wants him to do is bend down, get in those knees, and then come right up through it. Pretty much what he just did right there.
Yeah, that's why we're not seeing a lot of the jab right now from Blancas. He just wants to get in. There it is. Get in close.
Shot.
High guard.
And the uppercut is effective. Like Jose Benavidez Sr. asked for. More uppercuts. More body shots. And Suleiman got his jaw jacked with that uppercut on the inside. And total power punches through 7 rounds. Huge advantage for the undefeated Daniel Blancas.
And here it is. It's exactly what the corner said. Hey, if you want it, and if you want, you can beat this guy and stop him. I'm sorry, Blancas. And yeah, when he decides to let his hands go, he's so relentless. He is, machine. There it is. We're seeing what Benavidez does.
Seeking his 8th stoppage victory, making the investment to the body, pushing Suleiman back to the ropes, landing a right hand upstairs on a left hook. Suleiman taking these shots. He's been down twice, but he's stood up to every power shot from Blancas thus far.
Yeah, then that's pretty much what Jose wanted in this fight. You're going against a come-forward fighter. Can you be the one that's going to be able to press him backwards? And you see he's kind of pushing him a few times, but he is being the bully in there as Blancas.
Yeah, a lot of these pressure fighters, they don't know how to fight going backwards, and that's what, Blancas already found out about Salomon.
So again, the first half of the fight, all Blancas, and he's really beginning to widen the gap, statistically speaking, and really digging to the body.
Yeah, sometimes after they tell you got to bully that bully.
Yeah.
And Blancas took his time early, but as you see right there, he's the one that's able to kind of use his strength now.
Just teeing off on Suleiman. Suleiman's high guard deflecting a lot of those shots, but still enough for getting through.
But I like the mentality about the corner. That's Benavidez' father telling him, hey, he could box and he could have done all of this, and have won the fight easily, but he wants more action. He knows he can stop him and hurt him, and that's what Blancas is doing.
Blancas, hand speed, combinations, the jab, work the range.
Yeah.
And Suleiman marching forward, but unable to do anything of consequence against Blancas. Blancas threw 94 punches in round 7.
Wow. You good? Huh? That's what I want to fucking hear from you.
Let's go.
You understand? You need to do that fucking dog. Okay? Let's go then. You understand? You cannot be taking so many fucking punches in there. You understand? Raul, look, he's looking for the fucking counter because you're only throwing 1 punch. You're not listening. You're in the inside looking for the overhand right. You step over, fucking touch the fucking body.
And did we tell you? Yes, Blancas found his rhythm. Very did. There it is, the body shots, pushing him, feeling just comfortable, throwing punches and punches. Definitely Benavidez' school right now is what we're seeing in Blancas. This beautiful combinations. Just brilliant work from Blancas this last round. Throughout the whole fight, really.
Yeah, David Benavidez, one of the biggest offensive threats in all of boxing, known for that high volume pressure. And in the 168-pound division, the average is 51 punches thrown around. Blancas tonight is averaging 66, 90 over the previous 2 rounds.
Well, there you go. Remember, what did he say is the biggest thing that he learned from David? The work ethic, the fight is won in the gym. And you're seeing that right now. First 10-round fight, and he's using more volume than I've really ever seen him use in the past. That is Blancas, and he's in flow state right now, pretty much even switching southpaw points.
And that's Blancas in relaxed mode right there, because it is more tiring boxing and being on the back foot, believe it or not. So right now, Blancas being in there, and trading punches, I think it's good for him because he's taking a breather as well.
Yeah, and he's being really smart, controlling that distance, doing great work coming in, and then trying to find his way out. And he knows pretty much, as Solomon's corner said, only 1 punch you're throwing, 1 at a time, easier at a time.
Oh, there's Suleiman with a quick jab and then gets into a wrestling match with Blancas. Under 2 minutes left here in the 8th. Both of them looking to go 10 rounds for the first time.
Yeah, and it's really now or never for Salomon. The corner trying to wake him up, trying to hype him up. Hey, listen, do you want this? Come on. We got to see more from you. And we are getting a little bit of glance of what Salomon can do if he's aggressive and he lets his hands go. But again, this is the 8th round. You got to pick it up. You got to look for a haymaker now, really, and hurt Blancas.
Yeah, and he's been trying to do that, but he even had Blancas against the ropes. Blancas pretty tight in there. Didn't quite land too much. Salomon. He's up against it right now.
And power punches landed for Blancas. Suleiman's father, Raul Sr., was a professional soccer player, and it's Suleiman now looking for the goal! Under a minute left in the 8th. Always wanted to do that.
Golazo right there.
It sounded like it. It sounded good, buddy. I'm ready for the World Cup. I like that.
Body shot from Blancas again continues to just sap away the strength of Suleiman.
Now we'll see if that uppercut really starts to play in here as Suleiman is out of gas and he's kind of leaning on Blancas, especially with that head.
Oh, it's a right hand that's found a home for Blancas.
Everything's found a home pretty much for Blancas at the moment.
But I like how he changes. Okay, yeah, he lands the right hand, but he doesn't, you know, just doesn't stay there. He looks for other punches.
We have seen a surge in his offensive output as we are now at the end of round 8, and for the first time in their respective careers, both Blancas and Suleiman will see round 9.
Good. Listen, but the only thing is don't stay too long, okay? And if you do, move your head. Breathe.
One by
one. Listen, you got 2 more rounds. Okay, yeah, stay in the inside so you won't waste a lot of energy, a lot of legs. Breathe in. Give me another hard breathe. Deep breathe. Let him throw a little bit. Let him open up. But time him, okay?
Meanwhile, in Raul Suleiman's corner, some great insight. We need the last 2 rounds, and we need them big.
They're going to need them huge. But you heard kind of what Jose was telling Blancas. He wants him to give Suleiman a little bit of confidence, have him open up, and then come land that huge left hook that Blancas is known for.
Yeah, and then time when he said, yeah, give him that confidence, let him throw a little bit, like you mentioned, and yeah, go throw in between, and the inside punches are definitely working for Blancas. But again, a great point was that, you know, him using the ring and running around, well, he said, stay in the inside because I don't want you to get tired. These are the last 2 rounds.
Uncharted territory for both fighters, their first 9th round, and Blancas continues to work behind the jab, lands a beautiful right cross, and there's a lead right hand. Double rights to Suleiman, and Suleiman can take a shot, man.
Yes. Yeah, it looks like uncharted territory for Suleiman, but I'll tell you, Blancas looks like he belongs here. And that's kind of what Suleiman was saying. This is the most dedicated he's ever been for a camp, but he's run into, you know, a guy in Daniel Blancas who is ready for everything he's going to bring tonight.
Of course, a 168-pound championship will be on the line in our co-main event later tonight on pay-per-view. Armando Resendiz in his maiden voyage as champion, defending against Jaime Munguia, looks to become a 2-division champion.
Yeah, we'll get to find out a lot about those guys in that fight, especially, I mean, Toro Resendiz. We'll see if he can ride that wave of momentum that he's
coming off the upset of the year. Meanwhile, Munguia avenged the loss in the 24 upset of the year to Bruno.
Yeah, and made that change to Eddie Reynoso and kept his hands up in that fight, but we'll see. Once again, both those guys hopefully going to be fighting with a lot to prove.
Meanwhile, Suleiman unable to do much against Blancas. Standing in front of him is able to absorb the punishment and not go down, but that's really the best you can say about him right now, Abner.
Yeah, he's been punching back this whole fight. I mean, let's be real. The guy's right in front of him. Yeah, good job. Good pressuring, but what kind of pressure? A guy that's just standing in front of you. Not a lot of punches from Salomon. Really, really fantastic job from Blancas throughout this whole fight.
They have thrown nearly 1,200 combined punches. And we are 30 seconds away from completing the 9th round. There's a huge edge, though, statistically speaking, for the undefeated Daniel Blancas.
Yeah, but you need a guy like Solomon for Blancas, because Blancas ended his last 2 fights early. You got to kind of find out that not everyone's going to fall when you hit them with your best shot. So getting these rounds in, and once again seeing that gas tank doing all these things.
And Solomon came in with over 20 rounds of pro experience edge, if you would call it that. Did have a little more in-ring experience than Blancas, but proving to be a difficult experience tonight for Solomon.
I gotta have to tell you, bro. It seems like you don't want to fucking win in there.
I do, bro.
No, you don't, because you're fucking cruising in there. You're just cruising. We told you we need these fucking rounds. You're letting this motherfucker box.
Last round, touch gloves. You good, Raul?
You gotta throw more punches and hit the body, Raul. You have not hit the body.
We've been telling you the whole fight, you gotta work the fucking body, and you keep headhunting. And you're looking for one fucking punch.
Thank you.
We need the fucking knockout to win.
This is it, bro. We gotta knock him out. That's it.
And then it's not gonna be by you trying to load up on one. You gotta set it up. You understand?
All right, this is it, bro. Let your hands go, okay? Find the body. Be on him. Stay on
You're
him.
much better than this fucking guy, bro.
The boxing ring is the theater of truth, and sometimes that truth hurts. And Edgar Jasso speaking truth to Raul Solomon. It's come down to this, the final 3 minutes of this fight between the undefeated Daniel Blancas in the Mexican flag colored trunks and Raul Solomon in the gray and black trunks.
You know, it'll be interesting to see how Blancas kind of treats this. If he's going to stand in there with him while Solomon's going for that knockout, and maybe that will be the opportunity for Blancas to land that huge counter.
But I think it's going to come down to that. I mean, the pressure right now from Salomon, urgency, obviously, the corner telling him. I mean, he knows that he's got to look for the knockout. So, yeah, like you said, it's going to create an opening for Blancas to land a big shot.
Meanwhile, Blancas using that jab as a beautiful paintbrush, and it's very effective. Upstairs, downstairs, body shots from Blancas.
Step back, guys. Punch out of there. Stop!
But no, not quite from Salomon. Not throwing a lot of punches again.
Yeah, well, he kind of finds out right when he gets out there that he's landing a few. He finally threw a combination right there and snuck it through with that left hand, but the more he throws, the more he is open for a Blancas left hook counter. You see right there, that's where Solomon, he just does not have the feet to kind of follow Blancas. Blancas is moving left and right, and Solomon's kind of stuck in the mud.
Stop.
Yeah, but at this point, it's not even about, I mean, I like that, but it's not even about the feet. It's about the, throwing your hands, letting the hands go, and we didn't see that in any given round from Salomon.
Yes, but even right there, he's letting the hands go and missing.
Yeah, it's only one shot, 2 shots at a time, and yeah, we'll tire more. Oh, beautiful.
Uppercut on the inside by Blancas, goes downstairs with the right hand. Hand speed on display, double jab, splits Solomon's guard. There's a right hand, lands for Solomon. Are you content with Blancas to continue doing what he's doing, or would you like him to try to make a statement in this final minute?
I would like him to kind of look for that uppercut right now when Solomon's coming in. And it's there, as you see. Solomon's looking for that home run, looking for that 10-round home run. But maybe would you kind of continue? Blancas is just doing what he's doing. He's doing great.
I like what he's doing right now. Listen, you can, get yourself open for a big shot. You close the fight, close the round. And he fought beautifully in this fight, so no need for that.
And even right there, he was able to bully his way off the ropes when he got trapped in there. And just kind of using that strength against a guy who is a heavy, sturdy fighter in Solomon.
Stop! Don't fucking break. Come on. It's the last round. Don't push this guy.
You see, that's a little bit of frustration down there.
So for the first time in their respective careers, Daniel Blancas and Raul Suleiman go the 10-round distance. But I have a feeling Suleiman is not going to be happy about the judges' scorecards. In the last 5 rounds, Daniel Blancas averaged 88 punches around. That's David Benavidez numbers.
Yeah, I mean, look, when you're in that gym, you have no choice but to work hard, and you got to see the dividends of that tonight. Just great gas tank. He's shown it twice, been 8 rounds twice in Vegas. Now he's finally got that 10-rounder under his belt, and he's starting to become a little bit of a name at 168.
All right, well, we have, of course, a big main event coming, the biggest fight size-wise in Mexican history as David Benavidez moves up to 200 pounds to challenge unified cruiserweight champion Gilberto Ramirez. They've had close to 200 rounds of sparring over the years. Let's go back to 2021. Is this a pay-per-view fight or a sparring session, Abner?
It's a sparring session. That could be a pay-per-view fight.
That looks like a fight!
But yeah, it could be a pay-per-view fight, no doubt. And yeah, that's what they say. This sparring session was a fight. It was toe-to-toe, back and forth action. I mean, they don't even know who won that fight in that sparring session.
I'm wondering if Ramirez playing a little mind game, saying, you know, headgear, bigger gloves. I didn't make too much of it. Meanwhile, Benavidez said, I remembered every single second of those 200 rounds.
Well, I think that's just the difference in Benavidez spars like it's a fight, whereas Zurdo kind of spars to get better. But I'll tell you what, Benavidez in the gym, in the ring, if he puts on those gloves, he's going for it.
Does Daniel Blancas remain undefeated as we all believe? The man with the answers, Miguel Flores.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 10 rounds of action, we go to the judges' scorecards. Judges Kermit Bayless and Max DeLuca both see it 99-91, and Judge Eric Cheek sees it 100-90. All 3 judges in agreement for your winner by unanimous decision. And still undefeated, Daniel, the Iceman Blanca.
A lot to like about Daniel Iceman Blancas as he improves to 15-0 on this Cinco de Mayo weekend, and that wraps up the preliminary portion of the card. To put a capstone on the proceedings, let's go back up to Bernardo Osuna.
Great job down there, Mauro. And always a pleasure to see up-and-coming fighters like the Iceman Blancas do what they do inside the ring. And you can see those familiarities with David Benavidez and that squad in terms of the style. What we want to do is invite you for the next 12 minutes to make sure you buy the pay-per-view. You see that QR code on the bottom right of your screen. It's as easy as scanning that. May cost you a little bit, but I know if you're here right now, it's because you want to be a part of this pay-per-view. And we also remind you that on July 25th, PBC pay-per-view returns for Errol Spence Jr., who comes back from a 3-year layoff as he travels all the way to Australia to take on their favorite son, Tim Tszyu. Jim Gray caught up with Spence earlier today.
Tim, you've changed trainers. Jeff Fennick is now with you. Why have you made another change?
The first thing was to stay in Australia, and then the second thing was to combine someone that's got that aggressive style, who's been in there, who understands boxers, and that's why I chose him.
Looks like you got a little wound already as you get ready for July 26th. What happened there?
That's from the last fight.
Still from the last fight?
I still got it, man. So
and you're ready to get back into it again. Do you feel there's a big advantage fighting in Australia against Errol Spence, who hasn't fought in 3 years, and now he's going to have all that travel time as well?
I think it does play an advantage, and that's why I've sort of chosen to stay in Australia, because as much as people say the jet lag doesn't affect it, but it does, you know. So if I can play that to my advantage, plus my family is 50-0 in Australia, so the record there speaks for itself. So we can continue it on. And yeah, there's a lot of advantages in fighting there.
How do you prepare for a guy who hasn't fought in 3 years and is moving up in weight for the first time?
I think Errol's coming in fresh. I think the rest was much needed in his career. I think he's gone through a bit. So I think he's coming in rejuvenated, refreshed. So in terms of preparation, preparing for the best version, the type of guy who, when he fought Kell Brook, that's the version that I'm applying myself to.
Where would you assess your career as now? You had those 3 losses, 2 against Fundora, a bit of a rebound. Where would you assess where you are right now?
Rebuild stage, a lot to prove, not comfortable at where I'm at, and a lot more to go towards.
Tim, best of luck.
Thank you.
Look forward to the 26th of July.
Don't miss the biggest nights in MMA.
We are now